Open your mind.
The good doctor is in the house. The house. The house. The good doctor. The good doctor.
Open your mind.
In the house. The house. The house. The good doctor in the house. The house. The house. The house.
Open your mind.
And peace, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you Negroes knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Tonight, special guest tonight. This brother right here, man. This brother is what it is. As y'all can see, we are on the Ask the Doc series, and the Green Gorilla is in the house tonight, the G with the PhD. But before we get started, y'all know I always start the stream off with thanking you good folks, man, for everything that you do. Because I realize, man, you don't have to watch these damn videos. You don't have to show up to these streams. You don't have to like, share, or subscribe to this platform. And you definitely don't have to drop your hard-earned pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and 50-cent pieces. But you good folks choose to do so, man. You choose to do it. And I want y'all to know, man, that I'm thankful. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm appreciative, man. And I don't take y'all folks lightly. I never have, and I never will. And I want y'all to know, man, that I appreciate all you good folks, man. I appreciate you good folks who hang out there and the good folks who hang out in here. All right. All right. So let's get at it. The guest of honor is here. So let me bring in my boat. The one and only Green Gorilla. What's good with it, brother Green Gorilla?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's good, man?
The Prophet of Thought. How you doing? Xavier, I think it is, right?
Yes. The name.
How you doing? Because I don't want to call you that T name and then get clocked in the head. You know, I don't want to get punched and ransacked. You know.
Shout out to brother TVA, man. He made that. He made that little thing, man.
I saw that, man.
I put it on my channel. Yeah, I took that from his channel. I stole that from his channel. He didn't even make it for me. He just made it, and I hit him up. I was like, "Yo, man, let me take a snippet of that."
I was entertained by that myself. I said, one thing I will not do is call this man that name. It will never come out of my mouth.
Yeah, man. Shout out to brother TVA. But I'm glad you came on. Your first time on Ask the Doc. And everybody knows these Ask the Doc streams. What we do is we get a PhD up here, we get a doctor up here, and we chop it up, and we take some questions from the audience. Ergo the name Ask the Doc. So for the people who don't know who you are, I'm familiar with you. I've been watching your stuff. But for the people who may not know who you are, why don't you just explain a little bit before we get into it.
Yeah, man. I'm Green Gorilla. I'm the G with a PhD. I have a show channel on YouTube, and the channel name is self-explanatory. It's the Green Gorilla channel, and I do shows that cover issues that I think would be of interest to Black men, and it's a place where Black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser, as long as it's respectful. That's one thing I like to do. Even people who have differences of opinion than I do, I don't do very much hangouts and chats. But when I do open up the floor, I enable anybody to say what they got to say. So for the most part, I got a PhD in philosophy, and you know, it is what it is, man. I'm just here to work on behalf of Black men and boys, and I have a perspective. Some people like it, some people don't. But whatever the case may be, uh, I'm steadfast. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. So that's who I am. That's who I be.
All right. You said a PhD in philosophy. That's not an easy. It's not an easy one to get, is it? It's not
Um,
easy to get.
it's not that difficult. I mean, you got to write a book. You have to take a 4-hour examination, and they got a book list that's like 150 books, and you got to take a 2-hour oral examination. You have to take 4 years of coursework. Actually, I had to take 5 because I
Mm,
didn't have a master's. So I went straight into a PhD program as opposed to, you know, going into a master's program and then matriculating to a PhD program. So they wanted me to take a lot of courses over that I had taken in college because I guess they assumed because I went to an all Black college that perhaps maybe I wasn't trained appropriately. But I just did what I had to do. They paid for it, so I didn't pay for it. So that's all to the good. So
okay.
it and it, the most difficult thing about it is having to deal with people that you're not familiar with and who know more than you, because a lot of these people were older than I was when I entered into the program, and
Hmm.
I really didn't like it. I didn't like the people I was surrounded by. I didn't like the culture. Um, but then I eventually found my own my own legs and found my own way to push through the grid. And it's not difficult anymore. It used to be difficult, but it's not difficult anymore.
Okay. So why philosophy? Why did you choose philosophy, brother?
Well, initially I went to school and I thought I was going to be a medical doctor, and I could do the work, but it wasn't interesting to me. And balancing equations, converting calories to joules and kilojoules and all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't interesting to me. I didn't like it. So
Mm,
I just, but I had to take core courses, and the courses that I found most interesting were the courses that were philosophical or had a philosophical nature to them. So the professors who were my teachers picked up on this, and they encouraged me. Well, why don't you, you know, think about becoming a philosophy major and pursuing a PhD in philosophy? And there's not too many Black people doing it. Why don't you do it? You could be one of the few. And it was just something that I enjoyed. I enjoyed reading the ancient texts. I mean, it was funny to me. I laughed. I read Plato's philosophy and laughed at it.
mm.
uh, it was humorous, and so. But anyway, I've always been a lover of books. Been an avid reader since I was, a grade schooler, and yeah, it was something that I took to. So I took it all the way. And I've
So
always been interested in what's real. Like what is real? I've always been asking questions like this since I was a youth. Like because I went to a Catholic grade school, and
mm,
I wanted to know what the nature of reality was. At first, they you go to a Catholic school, they lay this guilt trip on you. and they get you to think that, if you don't behave appropriately, you're going to burn in hell and suffer eternal damnation. And that just led me to ask questions like, is this even real? These stories that they're telling us, or is this just a ruse to modify our behavior? Is there really such a thing as God? And if so, well, where's the proof? Why isn't God manifesting himself and revealing himself to us on a continuous basis? Why is that not occurring? I mean, he presumably he did to the men who are characters in the Bible. He manifested himself to those persons. Why is he not manifesting himself to us? Right? What's the nature of divinity? The Trinity. I always ask the question, what's the Holy Spirit? Why is there a Father, a Son, and the Holy Ghost? Where's the mother? Just questions I used to ask. Like, where's the mother? So you mean Jesus was born through divine conception? Like, okay, Mary was never touched except after she married Joseph, but she gave birth to Jesus. Divine conception. What is this? I mean, ever since I was a kid, I was asking these questions, right? And so, my question asking just continued to stay with me, and it stays with me to this day. I question everything. I'm always being critical. So, yeah.
So, are you a religious man then?
I,
Being
I
that you look at I guess divinity and theology in a philosophical sense. Are you a religious man?
not anymore. I used to be deeply religious, but I'm not anymore. In high school, I used to be religious, and I got into this literature that gave me some access to understanding key parts of the Bible. Like, if you want to understand the book of Revelation, you need to understand the book of Daniel. And I was taking these correspondence courses to gain more insight, to try to unlock these so-called mysteries, because I was fascinated with knowing the truth. And I thought that, because since I was confirmed a Catholic in grade school, I'm thinking that this is real. I was indoctrinated. And so, anyway, man, as I kept reading this literature, more and more, it just was revealed to me that the chosen people or the 12 tribes of Israel were considered to be Europeans. And at that point, I just rejected it all. I was like, no, this is some BS, some bullshit, you know. And so from then on in, I started, reading a lot of Afrocentric literature. Started reading Asa Hilliard, Ivan Van Sertima, Chiek Anta Diop, Theophilo Benga, uh, Anthony Browder. I started reading that sort of literature, and The Stolen Legacy, George E. James, and it gave me insight as to how Christianity was derived in part from ancient mystery systems, in particular, uh, in part uh, of that of Kemet. So, I started to piece the things together, and I started to understand how racism worked into religion. And so I kind of rejected my Christian faith. I did. I still am spiritual, but I'm not, any kind of, you know, zealot. Put it that way. I think that's the best way for me to say it.
Well, because of your studies and what you got your doctorate in, um, one would assume you have certain views about things, of course, because of how you were educated. Do you run into problems? Do you run into situations where you encounter other black folks and they may look at you and say, you're uppity or you're boule or you're bougie, because you got this doctorate, in philosophy, et cetera, et cetera. Is that something that you come across in your travels?
In my travels, no, not really, because I don't throw it in front of people's face.
Hmm.
Like when I walk into a bar or something like that, the first thing I'm saying is, what's good? How are you? What's happening? I'm not acting like white people act. I don't have a card on me at all times saying, look at me. I got a PhD in philosophy. That's not how, I don't, that's not
Okay.
how, I live my life. And so, I'm from, a block in St. Louis called Kasu. And, it's the hood. And so maybe I still have those elements of my, my youth that have carried over into the future. But I mean, no, so people don't, you would never know that I had a PhD unless I told you. So no, I don't get the uppity. I've never received you're uppity, but I have had people say, you know, you belong with a white woman. I've
Ah,
heard that shit before. Or don't get with a white woman. I've heard that before by other black women, you know. But it seems like when I start to talk and they present opinions or viewpoints, I challenge them on some of the things that they think, and sometimes that can be irritating. But you know, for the most part, I don't get the uppity vibe because I don't give up off the uppity vibe.
mm.
You feel me? I mean, you see
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like,
I get it. I get it.
yeah, I don't walk around like, oh, I'm better than you because I got a PhD. I don't do that. Some people think that I do. I mean, once you hear the name, people assume that that's how you are. But no, that's not how I am. That's
Yeah.
not my
Well, the
character. Yeah,
the
go ahead.
reason why the reason why I asked that, brother Green Gorilla, is because we often, and I'm not going to lay this on every black person, but there is a pocket of us, I should say, a pocket of our population that, if you are someone who has, went to school, if you're someone who has, went to, a university, or you became a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. I mean, because I get it. All right. I get it. And I'm just a mechanical engineer. My degree is in mechanical engineering. And I
Got you.
got it when I was younger.
Right.
And they think because, you've done these things that now you're different. You're trying to be white.
Yeah.
You're trying to
Yeah.
be better. You're trying to, forget the quote unquote hood, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
That's why
Right.
I asked that, because it always seems, and maybe I watch too much damn media. And it seems like in the media, if you're a person, especially if you're a black man and you've accomplished a few things, you have people who will stand on the sideline and try to disparage said accomplishments, which
Yeah. Yeah.
always drove me crazy, because why would you disparage a black man's accomplishments? But
But
that's why I ask. Go ahead.
that's odd though because my closest friends have never done that to me. You know, they've never looked at me like, oh, this guy, he's got his ass on his shoulders, or he thinks he's better than us now, or he is acting different now. I mean, they just never regarded me like that. Even the people, that know me tangentially in the neighborhood, they don't look at me. I mean, I guess to some degree, I mean, they could think to themselves like, oh, well, he's doing it. He made it out. He has a way to make some legitimate money. So therefore, he's on a different plane. But when I talk to him, because I also do music, right? And so I used to always have the guys come over in the neighborhood and record music at my house. And I used to be a street guy too. So um, I mean, that shit never leaves you. And so, and I never used it in order to, berate them or to belittle them. So but I always did tell them, like, look, man, don't. I know you think you nickel slick and you hustling or whatever the case may be, but guard your grill because you know what the outcome of this is. So I mean, I was always like that uncle figure or that big brother figure to these guys. So I really didn't too much get that kind of pushback from the people I was surrounded by. That's just my experience. But people who don't know you and who assume that they know who you are and your struggles and what you've been through, they kind of they have those opinions, but not the people that I was immediately surrounded by in my environment. No, I never got that.
Yeah.
But some
And
people,
that's always the case. It's always the people who don't really know you who you get the most flack and blowback from. Like, You don't even know me, man.
Right. Yeah. That's like, it's like, this is why, social media is cool, but I really don't like social media because it doesn't give you that tactile experience, that up in your face, that upfront talking to somebody intimately. It's just a breeding ground for people to, act out and behave badly or act in ways that they wouldn't act if you were, in their face. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
um sometimes, these anonymous venues, or even, the distanced technological interaction leads to a lot of animosity and contempt, whereas you wouldn't get that up close and personal with someone. Because there would be consequences,
yeah,
or you don't know what the immediate reaction would be. But it's still it's necessary to do it anyway. You still have to converse and talk in whatever way you can, and people have to come together, and communities have to be created, and progress has to be made. And if this is the format, the technology that we can use to do that, let's use it. But people who don't know you, who have opinions about you, that's prejudice. That's what prejudice is.
yes, very much
That's
so.
judging somebody before you actually know them. And some of my views are unorthodox, but that's to be expected. I mean, given what I've read and what I've learned over the course of the past 20 years, man. So uh, it just is what it is, man. I don't mean anybody any disrespect. Uh, I don't mean to make people feel smaller in any way at any time. But I've heard women say that, you think you smart, you think you better than me. No, I don't. I think you're wrong. That's all. How about that? That's
That's a good one. I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah. I don't think I'm better than you. I just think you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm stealing that one, man.
Yeah.
So what brought you to YouTube? I mean, what made you say, you know what, I'm a start a YouTube channel and start, putting some of my views out on the internet?
Some of the experiences I've had as a black man, dealing with women in particular, uh, dealing with issues in the academy related to how black men are regarded, uh, you know, dealing with issues that all men potentially could go through, or do go through when interacting with black women. And Dr. Johnson, he kind of gave me the encouragement, and he told me, man, why don't you start a YouTube channel, bro? And I was like, okay, well, let me start one. Let's see how it goes. And I started one, and it started off really slow. And I'm not at 5,000 mark yet, but I'm close to it. So uh, I'm just gonna keep pushing. And I don't want followers who are sycophants just believe anything I say. I just I want a good group of people you know who are ready to engage the issue. So, but anyway, I started it off. Dr. Johnson told me, man, why don't you start a YouTube channel? And I've been rocking ever since. I'm almost a year in. In fact, I kind of tape it off a little bit because I got some personal issues going on with my family. My father's got to have brain surgery. I'm thinking about relocating to him, and making sure that he's able to either recuperate or have the best possible, comforts as if he deteriorates. So it's a lot of stuff that I'm dealing with right now. But for the most part, uh, yeah, that's how I got into YouTube, bro. Dealing with black male issues, and knowing that there's other men who are also experiencing these issues, and then hoping that black men can come together, create a movement, create some dialogue, and then ultimately develop some institutions, engage in some collective decision making, and then try to shift the tide to change some of these policies and to gain some traction politically. That was my hope. I don't know if the manosphere is ready for that yet, but at some point it has to. Otherwise, we're shooting the gift, shooting the breeze about it, but not being about it. So, at some point, I feel like we need to mobilize and do something. So, because it's it's
Yeah,
it's a
well,
cold, cruel world for us out here, bro.
Oh, absolutely it is. And shout out to brother Sir Anthony. He says, all hope all goes well with your father, Doc, and I share that sentiment as well.
Sure, you're
Um,
right, man.
I mean, when it comes to like the internet, man, YouTube, specifically, you spoke of, brothers who, kind of share the same views, share the same the hope and outlook of, kind of building something, collectively. And that stuff all sounds good. A lot of us talk about it. But if you look around the quote unquote YouTube, you know, uh, you don't see the makings of that often. You see little pockets of it, but you don't really see it that way where, you know, there's this collective there's this collective rhythm of people who say, okay, we're going to get together, we're going to have, a decent dialogue, we're going to talk about doing some things online and then take this thing offline and make something happen. Usually when brothers are talking about online and taking it offline, they talking about meeting up and fighting and all of some kind of nonsense. That's the only time that you kind of hear brothers talk about, doing something offline, when they talking about pulling up some damn where, meeting somebody somewhere, yeah,
To
talking
beat his
about,
ass.
going, yeah,
Yeah,
going to blows. That's the only
yeah.
time you really hear, a lot of, I'm not going to say everybody, but you hear that more than you hear, okay, we're going to get together, we're going to meet up, we're going to pool our money together, we're going to do this, we're going to buy that, we're going to look into this, we're going to look into that. You don't hear it. You hear people talking, yeah, man, we'll meet up such and such place, such and such park. I'll come to your house. I'll pull up. That is what you hear. So it's hard to kind of get your head wrapped around, brothers actually, getting into something and actually taking it offline and making something happen.
Yeah, so one of the things that is an impediment to that, I think, is that people see YouTube as a business model more than anything else, and so and then also egos are involved, and disrespect. That's why I wanted to have a show with you initially about respect,
Yes.
and respect goes a long way. But in order to receive respect, you have to give respect. It's reciprocity, bruh. It's not really difficult. If you don't want to be cursed out, don't curse people out. If you want people to be patient with you, be patient with them. If you want people to play nice with you, play nice with them. But I think that more often than not, people think that manhood is about being the badass motherfucker.
Mm.
Like, I'm the tough guy. I'm the shit. And my viewpoint is the right viewpoint. Fuck your viewpoint. And one ad hominem leads to another ad hominem, and then you got to save face if you're a man, and you have to present yourself as being willing to take it that far. And look, I deal with people who have differences of opinion all the time. It's not worth fighting over. Not to me. That's just my viewpoint on it, But this badass. I think there's a young brother who creates content, Edward Anderson, like the Highlander syndrome is what he calls it. Like, okay, I can be only one. There can be only one. You know, uh, this is not a zero sum game, man. Meaning that somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. That's not what this is about. And the white boys that created this country, they created institutions where they could make collective decisions. And if you are not the person who wins the argument one day, you might win it the next day, because there's a lot on the agenda that needs to be discussed and a lot of things that need to happen. And sometimes, the rhythm will flow your way. Other times it'll flow someone else's way. But on that grounds, I mean, like, what's the use of going through the bang outs and the threats? Especially if people ain't gonna make good on it anyway. Like, what's the point of all the threats? It's silly to me, man. You know, and I've been encouraging men in the space to be humble, to be respectful, to not reach or aim for consensus, but at least where you agree on matters, work on those issues. Where you disagree, shelf those, compartmentalize, table those things that you disagree about, find commonality and find ground on what you do agree about, and motivate. Nobody's in 100% agreement all the time. So you're not even in agreement with yourself. Your viewpoints are subject to change over the course of years or, maybe even days or months, provided that you get new information. So, all the tough guy shit, man, let's cut that out, man. It's unnecessary, man. Like, I'm not your enemy. Even if I don't agree with you, it doesn't mean that I'm your enemy. I'm not a threat. I'm
Yeah.
here to build, not destroy. That's what the 5%ers say, right?
Yep.
So
that's what they say.
it's not interesting though. A lot of and unfortunately, a lot of guys that consume the content feed into that fuckery. It's exciting to them to watch other men go at it. Like it's World Star or some shit.
Yeah.
Or like it's a smack battle or something like that. Come on, man. We can do better than that. That's just my opinion, though. We don't have to get into all this ignorant shit. It's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary, man.
I'd have to agree. But, this media stuff, Brother Green Gorilla, man, a lot of it is just let me say this. I will say that I believe a lot of us just see it as entertainment anyway. So, when you got brothers up here threatening to do this and do that, meanwhile, this dude lives in New York, this dude lives in California, this dude lives in Georgia, this other dude lives in Canada. So, the chances of that confrontation will probably never happen. You probably have more chance of getting struck by lightning than running into one of these people. But,
exactly.
Yeah,
so
people,
cut out the
they see
chicanery,
it, man.
So cut out the chicanery, man. That shit. Look, before I became a philosopher, I was a man. Okay, I said that the last time I was on the show. I'm a philosopher, but I'm a man first. Cut out the chicanery, man. All that monkey shit. Ooh, ooh, ah, 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 ah. Come on, man. Cut that out, man. Cut out the monkey business, man. You know what I'm saying? You get hyperventilating and shit, motherfuckers losing their breath, having hypertension and shit over some shit that's happening on YouTube, man. Man, I can't see it, bro. And the reason I can't see it is
crazy, man.
I know real beef, man, when I see it. I know real beef and how far I can go and what the shit really is like. You know what I'm saying? And the guys I know, man, they got that walk like that. They don't do a lot of talking and going back and forth. Ain't no, like in the cafeteria where you got two guys bumping chests with each other and shit like that.
Yeah.
No, them guys ain't about that. It's about, okay, you said what now? No excitement, no hyper ventilating, no yelling, none of that shit. Just that action, boss. So I don't look. When I was younger, I would entertain that, man. I'm almost 50, bro. I don't have time for that, man. I'm trying to enjoy the rest of my life and to work in communion with brothers, man. To work, but disagreements will arise. You can't expect perfect harmony at all times. But even if you disagree, that's why I always say men should come to each other before they make a spectacle out of other men in the public. It's ridiculous to me. All the doxing and shit, that shit is like some girl shit to me. Like slander, that's what women do, slander each other and shit. It's just, it's petty, man.
Yeah, because it's like to what end? Like, I mean, I believe in things having an ending. I believe that there should be some end game. And to what end is all this nonsense? To what end is, showing pictures of people mama and their wives and their kids? To what end? I mean, what does this grant you? Is my thing. I mean,
Followers,
what are you? Yeah,
clicks and likes and shit. Clicks and likes. I didn't come here for clicks and likes. I didn't come here for excuse me for saying, I ain't come to this for dick riders. Like people just, hinging on my every word. And I came here to fellowship with men. That's it. And to talk about issues related to men. Now, sometimes I say some shit that might be offensive and off-putting to some people, but it's all to underscore a perspective that I have on certain issues. And man, I love us, man. And it ain't too much love for us out here in this world. And so a lot of it, I think, has to deal with, us not gaining respect from the culture at large. And so we don't know how to respect ourselves. That would be one of the things that I think. But, men have a way, like I'm in a fraternity, man, we fight, but we're up close and personal and we know we're not going to kill each other. We know that if it's a disagreement and it gets physical, it won't get to the point of gunplay or nothing like that, you know. But testosterone leads to, a lot of shouting and a lot of disrespect sometimes, even within the context of my fraternity. But damn man, like it's a lot of shit. Knowing what we know, we're supposed to be aware. We're supposed to be aware of what the fuck is going on with black men, from black women, from the larger white society, from the standpoint of the hood, from the standpoint of other ethnic groups. We supposed to know that like there's something awry, and we're supposed to be trying to find means to work on it. And we know that we all won't, like, you're a mechanical engineer. It's a million different ways to cool the engine down, right?
Yep.
Yep. It's a variety of different ways, some more efficient than the others. But I mean, new technologies arrive all the time to accomplish the same goal. Somebody might later on find a different way, to power an engine. I mean, one day there might be nuclear fission, some shit that's able to do it. Nano cells might do it one day. Don't know, but the idea is it's more than one way to skin a cat. It's a million different ways to get to the same location. And so, being disparaging, being disrespectful, having ideas about, hurting people, and when you're off the scene, having and holding animosity to other men, like what the fuck is that for? I just don't. To me, this is what I look at it like. It's motherfuckers on YouTube acting like they the dope man and somebody ran off on the plug, man. That's how I look at it. Like, ain't nobody ran off on the plug, man. You not the plug and nobody ran off on you, man. I can see if motherfuckers like swindled you out of thousands of dollars or some shit, and then you mad, you upset, but you upset over a conversation and didn't go your way. And men have to understand, look, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you can learn. You don't know everything. I know I don't know everything. And I can learn. No man has all of the pieces to this puzzle figured out, bruh. None of us do. But maybe collectively we can add our minds and find a solution to some of these problems. But like if we're at each other's throats, trying to be macho and shit, it ain't gonna work. But it's the content creators that keep this shit up. It's not the men in the space consuming the content, unless they're dick riding. But it's the content creators keeping this bullshit up, man. Let's stop it, man. Fuck all these clicks and likes. We got justice work to do. That's my view on it. I came in here to do justice work, bro. That's so going back. I come here for justice work, bro, and to give people what I know for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you want to donate, that's cool, but like, I do it because I love it. I put love into my content, so I'm not here to, it is what it is, man. And then see now you got this guy, man. Look, I didn't come here to make a documentary, man. See, you got this man of tomorrow here. I came here now. First of all, I came here to make a documentary. Yes. After I had already been here, it was an idea. If you don't like the idea, you don't have to contribute to the idea. It's just really all that simple. If you don't like the idea, don't get down with the idea. The campaign never reached fruition anyway, and any man that donated to the project received all refunds for that project. If I came here to jumpstart my career or, to get money, I would have kept the money.
I have no idea what what y'all are
No,
talking about.
man, I'm talking about this
But
guy like I came here to make a doc. See, man, and tomorrow you had the opportunity to speak to me like a man. That's all you had to do is speak to me like a man. But instead of doing that, then you still want to keep up this bullshit. This is why there's an issue in the black community, man, amongst men. That's why, I try to stay out of the fray. I'm not about to go back and forth and yell and shout and act mad and act tough and tell people fuck you and all of this. I'm not into that. But I am an OG. I'm not a child out here. I'm not. So at the end of the day, if you show me some respect, I'll show you some respect. Period. But if I'm not about to pull up on no guy and go back and forth like monkeys. I'm not about to do all that.
yeah,
That's just not in
that
my
stuff.
character, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know real beef in real life.
Yeah,
And
that stuff
like
doesn't really accomplish anything
it
anyway.
doesn't accomplish anything at all. So if you don't like me, keep my name out of your mouth. Keep pushing. That's what a real man would do. If you don't like it, just keep my name out of your mouth and do what you do. It ain't coming out of your pocket. So even if it was the case that I was doing what I was doing, why does it matter to you? Why do you even give a fuck? Why do you care? Doesn't even
Do
matter.
you
It's like
think?
why you in my pockets? Why you worrying about why you pocket watching me? That's my next question. Like, why are you worried about what I'm doing? Why is it necessary for you to seep into what the fuck I'm doing? Why don't you stay in your lane and do what you do? I'm gonna stay in my lane and do what I do. If you feel like I'm not the kind of individual you want to work with or do business with, you just don't have to do business with me. There's no need to use all the language of disrespect. Just okay, I don't fuck with you. Okay, I don't fuck with you. Okay, mind your business and stay in your lane. Just keep my name out your mouth. I ain't never mentioned that man's name. Didn't even know who the guy was. Wasn't on my radar. If you're not on my radar, what you talking about me for? Why you worried about me? All I wanted to do was catalog the ideas of men in the manosphere so that the world could see. I have people with credentials who are willing to speak on behalf of black men and boys and justice related issues to black men and boys. And you got motherfuckers thinking so small, they worrying about money like I'm Black Lives Matter, like I done collected millions and bought beachfront property or some bullshit. All I asked for was, it's thousands of viewers out here on YouTube. Thousands of people, man. Thousands of people, man. So I'm not worthy of taking a project to fruition because I got somebody worried about what I might do with the bread. I'm trying to make a goddamn documentary to catalog the ideas and the viewpoints so we can actually get on top and control the narrative instead of people spinning the narrative like they've been doing for the past 60 years. Now, if that's an ignoble goal, what the fuck are you doing? That's my question. What are y'all doing? And it ain't just to him. I'm like talking to anybody. What the fuck you worried about me for and me trying to bring a project to fruition? This is why this crab in a bucket shit keeps happening in the black community. Because as soon as somebody sees somebody else doing some shit, the first thing that comes out is the envy or the slander or the disrespect, instead of actually getting behind it and being a part of it and supporting it and keeping an eye on it and checking out my veracity and what I'm actually about. You assuming that I got some sinister motive. You assuming that I'm gonna run off with the pocketbook. That's an assumption you making. Maybe that's what you would do. It ain't what I would do. So you can hate all you want, but just hate from a distance. Stay out of my lane, I'm gonna stay out yours. It's just really simple. You don't like my content, you don't like what I do? Shit. Stay in your fucking lane and do what you do. I'm gonna stay in my lane and do what I do. I'm not about to do all this old fake ass internet shit. I'm not into that. But I do know men. This is why I said before earlier, man. Motherfuckers don't say disrespectful shit like that to men in their face. They do that shit on YouTube because there's distance, there's safety and distance. You said it yourself. Now, look, I don't wish no ill will to that dude at all. Do your thing, man. Be successful in your lane. You got a group of followers, keep your group of followers and do you. I'm going to keep doing justice work. You might deny it, but they deny Christ as well. And I ain't comparing myself to Christ, but it's always going to be doubters and haters. So I must be doing something right. That's all I got to say about that shit. Can we get on to some more productive conversation?
Okay. I mean, anyway, do you think though, you know, with this media stuff, is this a reflection? Is this a reflection of who we are? You know, when you talk about the different issues and the squabbles and the problems and the disagreements, and it is media somewhat of a reflection of what we are as a society, as Black people?
It is, man. Like, look, I'm willing to be humble and apologize to any man. Me and that man could be friends. He doesn't know me. See, that's one thing about this YouTube thing or social media. People don't actually know each other. If you had time to know who I was and what my motivations are, then you would know what I've been through and some of the shit, the ordeals and the tasks and the burdens I've had to take on, and you wouldn't be saying half the shit you're saying. Now, first of all, man, Black men, we got to start thinking further and above and beyond petty shit. We have to, man. Like, just think about this. It is the case that I wanted to put this documentary together about 4 or 5 months after I've been here. I'm thinking that we big enough to get shit done. I'm thinking big about us. I'm thinking that we can go to the moon, to the stars. We can get a handle on our own imagery and iconography. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we can work it out like brothers gonna work it out. We can make shit happen. We can talk all day, or we can put our ideas out there in the world and add credibility to it. That's my thinking. It ain't about trying to be bigger than anybody else. It ain't trying to run off with the bag. None of that shit. All I'm trying to do is say, damn, we have to begin the process of working together to make something happen. And then we can look back at the accomplishment and say, we all did it. We all made it happen. I'm willing to put in my time. I ain't even asked for me doing the work. I'm just asking for the funds that's necessary to get the work done. And then you got motherfuckers on the sideline looking at it like, oh, he's trying to get money. It takes money to do business, man. If you don't want me to hold the money, let that nigga hold the money and still let the project get done. And I'll still do the work for free. So if you don't trust me with the bag, give that nigga the bag and then let him parcel out the money so I can get the fucking work done. Deal? Because I still feel like we need to get this shit done. Or you can designate any man to get the money, as long as the money is reserved for the task at hand. And if we can't scrape up 50 G's, we worried about that, then what the fuck we ever gonna do? It's out here, people out here got billions of dollars on millions of dollars, making shit happen, working collectively and collaboratively. If we can't think bigger than this shit, then what does that say about us? We got small minds. We got to think bigger than this, man. We got to, and I understand there's a lack of trust amongst men, but I ain't one of them guys, man. That's why I knew if I couldn't get all the funds to make this shit happen, all that money was going to go right back. And I dare any motherfucker in this space or anywhere else to say I shorted them out of some bread. Because I ain't never shorted a man out of bread a day in my life. Now I might short the motherfucking corporation out of some bread. I done that before. But I ain't never shorted a man out of some bread. Like, I ain't paying you back, or I'm just swindling you. I don't move like that. I ain't never moved like that. So that's why I find it odd. And then other guys are worried about other guys' fame. Like, people mad at Kevin Samuels now because he done blew up. Motherfuckers feel like, oh, I should be there. Well, get your content up, man. Get your show up. Like, this is YouTube. If you use it as a business model, fine. I'm telling you what my motivations are. I didn't come here to get into petty ass arguments with men worried about what the fuck I'm doing, what my name is. I'm worried about doing justice work associated with the black men and boys in this civilization, man, in this culture, and trying to push us forward. Now, if I talk about my past, it is what it is. I ain't trying to hide it. Like some people try to hide the ill that they've done. Like everybody has skeletons in their closet. I just decided to expose mine. And I ain't on no little boy shit. I ain't never been on no little boy shit, except for when I was a little boy. I'm a grown ass man. I expect to be treated and respected like a grown ass goddamn man. And I ain't about to do all that pull up bullshit. I ain't for all that, man. I don't do all that. I'm too old for that bullshit. All I'm trying to do is work for us. Let me work in my way for us. You work in your way for us. Everybody has something to bring to the table. But this is a game of chess. It's like a football team. Like, this shit is like the Bad News Bears, man. You ever see that movie, man?
Yeah, I've seen
It's
it.
like we can't get on. Like, it's like everybody playing the game, but everybody playing their own game. You got 5 players on a basketball team, but everybody trying to run point. Nobody playing center. Nobody's playing power forward. Nobody's on the wings. Everybody's just doing them. They don't play like that. They collaborate every step of the way. They have hierarchies and chains of commands, and they have different players shifting in and out of those roles. And they have elections and collective decision-making processes so they get work done. And yes, they disagree with each other all the time. Yes, there's heated debates. But I just want to get the work done, man. If you don't like the ideas, fine. If you don't want to support the ideas, fine. Mind your business. Or either help with the business. If any man here got a project they want to work on that's going to make us stronger and come together and to overcome difficulties and disagreements, let's do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm real true blue about it. I'll even have a conversation with that man, but it's got to be in private. I'm not talking to that man in public, making a spectacle so we can get some fucking clicks and likes. We can have a conversation. I can let this man know what my business is and what the fuck really I'm here for. Otherwise, man, stop all the bullshit, man. It ain't leading nowhere. We gotta come together and overcome all this distrust.
Yeah. I mean, it's
We gotta work together, man. We gotta work together, man.
You speak of Brother Samuels, who many of us are familiar with. Everybody knows Brother Samuels used to be on this channel all the time. You go back 3 years. I got, I don't know, 15 different videos with Brother Samuels in it. And he's out of the stratosphere, and he's successful. And when Brother Samuels has 15,000 live viewers, that's a bad night for Brother Samuels. All right.
True.
And you see people who have attacked him, and attacked others like him. And it's almost as if, because I got this thing where I say all the time, it's all right for me, but not all right for thee syndrome. And what I think often happens, and you spoke to this, that people think that they're supposed to be there instead of these other people who are there, because it's almost as if when you listen to some of these people talk about this thing, they feel that one person is undeserving of the success that they built. They are undeserving of the accomplishments that they have. They are undeserving of, whatever grand thing they have created for themselves. They are undeserving of it, even though they created it themselves. And somehow these other people think that they're more deserving of something that someone else built for themselves. I don't understand that philosophy, pardon the pun. I don't understand.
You understand it, but
I mean,
you don't have that
geez.
kind of character though. So it's like this is envy, bruh. It's a human emotion. It's jealousy and envy. Why am I not there? And instead of seeing it like, okay, well, he got his shit together. This is what he did. Maybe I can learn some lessons from how he put his shit together and grind it over the years. Now you can't look, put it this way. This shit is like the music industry, right? Everybody can't be the number one on the Billboard charts, bruh. And the people decide what's gonna take off. I understand that there are men here who put the work in, and I do believe I take the DMX approach, not like to life, but but to success. Like it would be nice if Kevin Samuels would reach back and show some of that love and bring some people up with him. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, but to me, I'm not trying to be a YouTube star. I don't give a fuck about YouTube. I care about it only as far as I want justice issues related to black men and boys to be out there in the forefront. I think our voice needs to be heard. And I feel like we need to be vigilant in controlling our image because at some point, somebody else will control our image for us. Okay. Now, I've always said this, I enjoy Kevin Samuels' show. I don't watch it that routinely, but I see some of the clips here and there, and I've been invited to, comment on what goes on his show. But at the end of the day, Kevin Samuels is a YouTube influencer. There's only so many audiences that he can reach. They're not going to bring Kevin Samuels to the floor of Congress to speak on issues related to black men and boys because he doesn't have the credentials, not to disrespect him at all. But that's like asking if I want to learn how to cool my steam engine down, I'm going to holler at somebody who's a mechanical engineer who works in that domain. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely.
So if there is a commission right now for black men and boys that the Congress put together, I want to have somebody who is a scholar who deals with issues related to black men and boys speaking to these legislators about what's actually going on with the experiences, the phenomenological experiences of black men and boys. They have the credentials. This is like, people don't understand. This is like a chessboard, man. Everybody can't play the same role, but we want to win. We can only win if we understand how to work in collaboration and in conjunction with one another. If we don't do that, we're going to continue to lose, man. We're going to continue to lose. If everybody's mistrustful and pocket watching and looking and being envious and being contemptuous and all of this bullshit, we're going to continue to be in the same spot. Bottom line. I mean, and all I can say is, I personally, I just want to see us get to the point where we can make collective decisions, even if we disagree. Because I'm a member of organizations where the men make collective decisions. We make decisions, we get something done. Then we can meet up in real life and sit back and look at the work we did. But the work we doing is talking shit to each other. Now tell me how that's manly shit. That's not manly at all to me. That's some pusillanimous shit to me. I'm just keeping it 100. Like backbiting and undermining and being envious and being contemptuous and hating and shit. That some of y'all got y'all PhDs, player hating degrees. Shit, like that's like that May song. I don't know why he hate me, why he hate me. Man, he got his PhD, player hating degree.
See,
hey man, what's the hating for, man? Player, why you hating? Why?
This is the thing, man. I don't think people, I mean, you hear people talk about it all the time, or on the internet, not just YouTube. You hear it all over, Facebook, Twitter, and everything else. And people talk about, the success of black folks and the building and uplifting the black folks and all this kind of stuff. But, I don't believe a lot of people really want that. I think that I think that people want us to believe that they want that, but I think a lot of people don't really want that. You can kind of hear it, in their words. And I'm not one to jump up here and talk, we need to build, we need to get together, we need to do this, we need to do that. I'm not one of those people who kind of ride that line, because I do shit in my real life that, I don't have to get up here and talk, building and all this kind of nonsense. I don't have to do it because I live it. All right. I live it with the people that are around me, and the people that know me can, testify to that end. But you hear this stuff all the time, and these same people who talk, building and doing this and doing that, these are the main ones at people's throats. These are the main ones talking crap to people. These are the main ones, quote unquote, hating on folks and all that kind of stuff. But wait a minute, you talk this building, and you talk this togetherness, and you talk this unity, and you talk all this stuff, but if someone say one thing that you don't like, or one thing that you disagree with, now you're all over them, like they shot out your tires in the parking lot or some shit. So that's what I don't get. You hear a lot of the building talk. You hear a lot of the, let's be a black collective, let's be a black man's collective. You hear all the talk, but you don't really see it, and you don't you it's not reflected. If you watch one person stream, right, and they get on and they talk about, the building and all this kind of stuff, depending on, who's on the stream with them. If you watch the very next video that they made the day after that, they going at somebody's head, calling them
Yeah.
this and talking about their mama and their daddy and their wife and their husband and the kids and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, how can you go from one extreme to another? How can you go from one extreme to where, you all about unity and togetherness, and 24 hours later you talking about, how you gonna pull up and slap the man's mama and also kind of nonsense? How do you jump from those two different extremes? Like, I don't know.
Man, guys ain't got control over their emotions, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I can see. There's a lack of composure and restraint and
Yeah,
civility. You know what I'm saying? And it's got to do with this whole idea of I'm a badass motherfucker. You ain't gonna disrespect me. And I get it, I understand it, but the stakes are low. This there are no high stakes here, man. Like, one thing I can pride myself in, you ain't never heard me come out and start slandering somebody's name. You ain't never heard me come out and name drop and create some drama and some fucking enmity in the space over some bullshit. And I'm never gonna do it. For what? What's the point of it? All it's gonna do
yeah,
is show me my soul ain't balanced. I ain't got my shit together. Now you can doubt me, but I make room for your doubt. I'm not gonna allow myself to get drugged into the gutter over some bullshit when I know what my motivations are. I know what my desires are. I know where my mind is. You might not know where my mind is because you don't know me, but I know where my mind is, and I'm gonna continue to do this work. And I'm not about to, like I said, man, I don't have time for getting all up in my, emotions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the point where I'm gonna threaten other men and say slanderous shit about other men. That's lame to me, man. I'm not gonna pull up like I would pull up 20 years ago,
yeah,
like over some disrespect, like, oh, you talking some shit. Okay. Okay. But I wouldn't honeycomb brazy the situation, but I'll come see a motherfucker. Like, what's all the shit you talking, dog? Oh, you
yeah,
you was all tough and rough, motherfucker, a few minutes ago. But that's some bullshit, man. You grow up. You grow up. You understand that the shit you're tripping off of is minuscule. At the end of the day, it's tiny shit. And I'm trying to think and expand and be big in my thoughts, not little in my thoughts. Sorry for having ambition. Sorry for having determination and drive. Sorry for having high expectations. Sorry for coming into the situation thinking that, there's some trustworthiness here. And, some what they say, give a motherfucker the benefit of the doubt until he shows you reason otherwise.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So, but you got some naysayers. Well, doubt. I'm good with the doubt. But just keep my name out your mouth. That's all it is to it. Just we can all grow. I'm even willing to make amends with any man, especially if it ain't got too far out of line. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, ain't nothing happened in the manosphere to me that's too out of line. Personally, I mean, talking some shit, that's shit talking. That's like playing basketball. But but at the end of the day, man, like you're gonna have disagreements amongst men, and that's fine. But come on, man, we grown as a motherfucker out here, man. We're grown, and like you said before, man, you guys aren't even in the same geographical locations, capping at each other, man. Like WWF or some shit, like Smack TV. Like, come on, man. Like, this shit is chicanery, man.
Yeah,
It's
it is,
chicanery,
man.
bro. This some
It
bullshit.
is.
Like, we gotta grow up, man. And I expect for men in the black man sphere, I expect for black men to behave like fucking men and not like chatty patties and shit. Not like Real Housewives of Atlanta or some shit. Not like Love and Hip Hop or, Bad Girls Club or some shit. Doxing each other and shit. Slandering each other and shit. Ruining reputations and shit. That's crazy to me, man. That's not manly to me. I'm sorry. It's just not manly to me. I'm sorry. If I offended any man, also, I'm sorry. All I'm trying to do is build and work in behalf of black men and boys. That's it. You might not like my tact, my tape, my line of reasoning. None of that. That's fine. And if that's the way you feel, stay in your lane. Do you? The one thing I know is, man, one thing I know about social media and YouTube, if I see some shit I don't like, I am free to hit the unlike button, unsubscribe, and move on and do what the fuck I'm going to do. Right?
Exactly. I mean,
like there's no reason for me to sit there. Like, I've seen my stepfather do this shit with Fox News, man. Because he would get mad watching it, because he was like the right-wing bigot. I'm like, why are you watching it? You like this shit. You like to be mad and angry about some shit. You want something to be upset about because that's an emotion that you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to do something. Like, that's why I refuse to devolve and resort to the common element, man. I'm not doing that, man. And like I said before, give any other man the money and just let me do the work and get the fucking project done, because the project needs to be done, man. We need to have men in credible positions speaking about these issues in a way that can't be refuted merely because, oh, well, he doesn't hold these credentials. We got people with credentials that are willing to fight on my behalf. That's like saying, fuck it, I ain't playing with the bishops on the chessboard. Fuck it, I don't want them. I ain't gonna fight with the rooks or the knights because I'm gonna play all pawns, because I'm just gonna play all pawns. Fuck all that. It makes no sense. You got to use all the pieces of the board, man, to get to the objective. And they need to work in concert. That's what I'm saying, man. And it ain't gonna be easy, man. It's always gonna be disagreements. It's always gonna be cleavages. Always gonna be rifts. So what? I'm not looking for consensus. I ain't saying, look, the guys that know me know who I really am. They know I ain't about that bullshit. Period. And so at the end of the day, I dare any fucking man in the manosphere to say that he donated some money to a project I started and got ganked and yanked out of some bread. I want to hear that motherfucker step up. I issue a challenge. Step up. Because there ain't one.
Well, they ain't gonna do that because it doesn't exist. What I
Precisely.
notice happens, on the internet a lot is that people, I mean, a lot of these people create, I call them illusionists, man, because they create these narratives and these stories, they create this big old thing that doesn't exist really. But, they put so much time into creating it that, other people kind of latch on to it and give it some type of existence, even though it's something that's a total farce, a total fallacy, full of falsehood. But see, they have given it life. These illusionists have given it life about, what you do, who you are, what you're about, and all this kind of nonsense. So when you go and you be like, okay, fine. If you think that's what it is, come up here, bring your proof, show it to me, show it to the other folks, and we'll get at it. And you know what you hear when you say those type of things to these illusionists who
Crickets.
crickets. Because it doesn't exist. This thing that they've created about you, this narrative, this storyline that they've created about you, man, it's not based on anything. It's based on some BS. So of course they can't show the proof of it. Of course they can't. How are they going to show the proof of something that doesn't exist?
This is what I
Now,
look. Yeah, I
go
ain't
ahead.
mean to interrupt you, bro. I'm sorry, man. You was waxing poetic, man.
No, what
Because
I
you
was
said a
saying,
lot right there. You need to, if you
well,
got a truth bomb, you need to blow that
what
motherfucker up right now.
Well, what I was going to say is now they'll run to, their platform or run to, their quote unquote echo chamber that they have and still talk about it. But they will never come and confront you with the so-called proof of whatever they're saying you've done, who you are, what you're about, or what they quote unquote have accused you of. They can't come with their receipts, as they say.
Hey, look, hey, T.P.O.T, dog. And that don't stand for what, that shit that, when it get hot, it blows in a whistle or nothing like that. I'm talking about this, bro. At the end of the day, man, motherfuckers have negative prayer sometimes about you, bro. They think more about you than you think about your goddamn self. Like, man, dude, like, why? Like, sometimes people, you cross their mind so much, and you have such an impact on them that they are consumed by you. Like, I don't have time to do that shit, man. Like, I learned early on, man. I fuck with ideas. That's what I do. I am an explorer of ideas. Like, you remember Donnie Simpson back in the day, man, on
Yep,
BET?
yep,
He used to
yep.
always say, man, average minds talk about people. Above average minds talk about events. But excellent, it went something like that. Excellent minds talk about ideas. At the end of the day, I ain't got time to be talking about people, man. That's why you don't hear me
Yeah.
really talking about people. I talk about the ideas that the people have, and I might say that's some bullshit. Now, if you don't like my ideas, attack the ideas, but you ain't got to attack me on account of it. But that's negative prayer, man. Curses. When you cursing a man, when you thinking about a man walking around your house and that motherfucker ain't even there thinking about you, that says a lot about the maturity of that motherfucker, whoever they
Yeah.
may be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, inside or outside this platform. Like, come on, man. Like, I ain't coming for that shit. I know what I came here for. I ain't coming for that. That's why you don't see me engage it or engage in it. Like, you can watch video after video after video after video after video that I have. Now, I might make fun of a position or something like that, or be sarcastic and ironic about a position, but you'll never hear me come out and start talking about different persons. Fuck this nigga and throwing bombs, and this nigga's he a bitch ass nigga throwing bombs and shit like that. You won't hear me do that. Not about no man in the manosphere.
No.
You won't
No.
see any video where I am doing that bullshit about other men in the manosphere. Not once. And that's because, first of all, I have respect for the manosphere. Do you understand me? So it's bigger than me. The issues that are being discussed here, whatever form they take, are bigger than me. So therefore, I would not risk ruining the credibility of anybody in here who's speaking to these issues. Period. Because it makes us look bad. It makes us look like fucking buffoons. It makes us look like what they say we are. They say we're brutes. They say we're toxic. They say we can't get along. This is how they act. They don't want to work together. They don't understand how to do it. They want to be dominant and all this shit. And then we go and show them the toxicity that they're looking for. And then the narrative can be spun. This is the issue. But I understand it, man. It's a lot of hurt, man. A lot of guys are in pain out here, man. It's just,
Yeah, I believe
and I
that. I
understand
believe
it,
that
man.
too.
Like, it's a lot of guys in pain, man. And I understand your pain. But I'm not the creator of the pain. I'm not the architect of the pain. I'm trying to help alleviate the pain. Not create more pain, not to create more stress. That stress you got, you put, especially if it's about attacking another man in the manosphere over some ego shit, you fucked yourself over with that because you couldn't let it go. Because some men are like, one thing about your ego, if it's too big and it's fragile, it's bound to get cracked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
bound to be cracked. So, I look, all I want to do is work in behalf of black men and boys in my unique way. I had an idea. The idea, if all I was here for was that one thing, I would have quit, right? I would have stopped
Exactly.
all work, like fuck everything I'm doing. It ain't worth it no more. I can't get money from the manosphere, so I'm done. I would have stopped, right?
But see,
I mean,
but see,
if that's my
you can't say that though, because see, everybody has a reason for why you're doing what you're doing outside of your reason. Oh, he's not doing it because of that. He's doing it because of this. I mean, you get a lot of that too, where people will give commentary on your motives, even if you've stated your motives clearly, what your motives are. People will jump up and, oh, no, man, that's not why he's doing it. He's doing it because of X, Y, and Z. They not only do they think about you, like you said, more than you do, guess what? They know you more than you do. They know you more than you
motherfucker
do,
need to be
man.
my, if you know me more than me, goddamn it, you need to be my shrink. You need to be my motherfucking spiritual advisor. You my doppelganger or some shit. You know? you you more me than me.
Uh,
Shit.
God, sometimes man, this stuff is just crazy. And me, I do this stuff because I like doing it. I've been doing it a few years. I've had some of everybody on this channel. There's not many people you can name of note that haven't been on the T.P.O.T YouTube page at some point. And I continue to do this because I like doing it. But the further I go along doing it, I find myself wanting to do it less and less. And I know probably by the end of this year, I'll probably be down to possibly one or two streams a month, live streams. I mean, I may continue to put some pre-recorded stuff up, but this might be the last year of me actually, just being on here every week, because I've been on every week for a while now. And you know, I've been taking this stuff less and less serious. And the reason why is because of what I see. Um,
That's why
I,
I
I,
pulled. Hey,
I
bro.
feel like a lot of people on here, man, haven't grown up. Um, you know, I like having conversations and building with brothers and talking to them and all that kind of stuff. But uh, I just think that I'm getting to a point where I need to kind of, you know, like really back away from it. You know, just totally back away from this shit, you know, and maybe forever, not for a while, but forever. And I
But you know
do
what?
mean,
We need,
folks,
but hey, bro,
forever.
but Xavier, bro, you're doing good work, man, because you're being objective, impartial. You're letting people speak their piece, and I know you feel like you're not making any headway or any ground. But anytime you're ready to rock, man, you want to bring me on. Fuck all. I don't have to be the doc. I could just be a regular schmegular dude, man. You know.
Mhm.
But you've always treated me with respect. You've been impartial and fair with me. You know, and so, man, I think I love your show. I'm a P.O.T fan. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
T.P.O.T
snap.
fan. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, man, thanks for your work, bro. Like Sir Anthony just said in the chat, man, thanks for the work you do, bro. But I do understand because it's almost as if you know what you're coming here for and you know why you're doing it and you hope to make progress. And you see mudslinging and bullshit, and you say to yourself, why am I associating myself with this chicanery? Like
Exactly.
why am I motivated to do this when it's gonna resort into some bullshit and chicanery? Like, why? I thought y'all were serious. Because I know I'm serious, so I'm assuming everybody else is. But I can't, but I'm making an ass out of you and me when I do that though. Do you understand? I'm making an
Yeah.
ass out of myself and whoever else by assuming that people are serious. But I'm serious, man. Like, I've had some real fucking pain occur to me in my lifetime being a black man with women, the whole fucking nine. With racism, the whole fucking nine, bruh. With the criminal justice system. And I'm speaking to it, trying to motivate brothers, trying to let our position be known. And then, you got guys, man, with that whack shit. And all I can say is, bro, I got to work harder. I'm doing something right. If you got detractors and naysayers, you're doing something.
Oh, yeah.
Something is occurring.
Oh, yeah.
So at the end of the day, the more likes you get, the more people that start liking your shit, the more people gonna stop liking your shit.
Mhm.
But I just wish men in the space would stop being dick riders and stop, like being like sycophants and little puppy dogs, lemmings and shit, following what content creator says. Like all this branding shit, man. Look, I'm not a brand, man. The Green Gorilla is not a brand. The Green Gorilla is a format to try to expose and to bring to bear justice issues related to black men and boys. It's not a fucking brand. It's not a hashtag. You know what I'm saying? It's a YouTube channel to try to bring awareness to issues related to black men and boys, man. And I've even felt guilty to some degree monetizing the channel. But the only thing I wanted to do was to put my work and to take my know-how and my resources and my intelligence and put it into a project that I thought might help the black men and boys in the United States of America and to give voice to some of the black men in the manosphere. And I wasn't going to just have Dr. Johnson and Tommy Curry and Ronald Neal on it. I wanted other men in the space. I wanted Obsidian on it. I wanted, Angry Man on it. I wanted other people and maybe some new guys like Anderson or Fantastic, whatever. Like, I wanted some guys to be on this shit and to work synergistically in order to make it happen. But we crabs in a bucket, man. We don't work, man, together. Even if we disagree about some shit, fuck it. We agree about some shit. Let's focus on what we agree on and get this work done, and then we can worry about the bullshit later on. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Like it's about collecting thoughts and ideas and making shit happen. You think white folks agreed on every issue before they came together and did some sinister shit? No, they don't agree now. but they have the institutions in place where they can do things. That's the shit we need to be doing. But hey, no, if you guys want to mudsling, you can do that shit by yourself, man. If you want to be engaged in negative prayer about me and think the worst about me without even fucking knowing me, go ahead and do that, man. If that makes you sleep at night better, it probably doesn't. But you know, if it's something you need to do in order to keep yourself going, man, keep doing that.
I don't
Keep doing it, man.
I don't think a person got a good night's sleep if they wake up thinking about my ass. Like, you couldn't have had gotten a good night's sleep if you wake up thinking about me.
Man, shit. Couldn't have,
Wake up
man. You know what I'm saying?
waking
I
up
got a
thinking
lot.
about me.
I got 99 problems, but being mad at a motherfucker in the manosphere ain't one.
Absolutely not. I
Man, this
mean,
show
boy,
ain't one. Not one at
man,
all.
let me tell you something, boy. If y'all knew my life in real life, y'all be like, damn. this
Exactly,
this
man.
this man has a lot of shit going on. God damn it.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And people assume, like, first of all, you know, life is hard enough, man, without us attacking each other, man. That's one thing black men need to realize. You know, it's enough shit on our shoulders already. Enough. That's why, you know, I created that one video like civilize the savage, the black manosphere. Like we have more in common than we do in difference. Now, if I'd have put some fuck shit up there about one of these women, you know, like all of a sudden I got like 5,000 views or some shit. If I say something about us coming together, motherfuckers like, man, fuck that shit, no, man, you know, fuck
Yeah,
it.
they ain't trying to hear that.
You know,
Togetherness.
you got something ignorant to say about a motherfucker, or you got some smoke to throw somebody way, they all for that. But when it comes
Yeah,
time to actually get your hands dirty, pull up your sleeves, roll down and get to work and make some shit happen, motherfuckers, you know, they miss it. And so I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's how y'all feel about it. You know, well, this is more than YouTube to me. This stretches beyond YouTube for me. My concerns, my ideas, my values about what's going on to black men and boys move beyond YouTube, bro. This is not, you know, my ambitions to become the next Kevin Samuels. Fuck that. I don't care about that.
yeah,
That's the honest to goodness truth, man. And cross my heart, hope to die. May I be struck down dead tomorrow. If that's all I'm here for, to get a bag of some bullshit and to look like I'm the man or something, man. Fuck all that. I ain't, you know, no disrespect to you if that's your goal, but it ain't mine.
yeah.
It's
I,
not
I
mine.
think I think a lot of people, you know, on YouTube, you know, not to say that that's good, bad, or indifferent, but I think a lot of you people that are on YouTube, that's what they, you know, that's what they aspire to be. You know, they want to be this big gigantic personality and do all this kind of stuff, which is fine. All the more reason for you to not, you know, disparage someone who has done it, because they're clearing a path for you. I mean, that's how I would look at it. Like if I was an aspiring, you know, big time person wanting to be, you know, this grandiose YouTuber, you know, I would look at those bigger YouTubers who are doing really, really well and have really big audiences. I would look at them and I would study what they do to try to get to where they are, because this is what I want to do. So,
Precisely.
how is disparaging the person's success? How the hell does that help you? Like that's not going to get you to where they are or even close to where they are by spending your time disparaging this person just because they've gotten to a precipice that you seek to get to. I mean, I don't understand that either, but I don't understand a lot of stuff that goes on with Negroes, because I was always taught that um as a man, you get out there and you work for what you want. You surround yourself with people who actually have a respect for your dream because they have dreams of their own. That's what I grew up being told, you know, by my old man and by my grandfather. So you would never hear me disparaging a brother's accomplishments. When I see a brother doing something great, I'm like, congratulations, brothers. That's good shit right there. I would never disparage a man's accomplishments. I would never disparage a man's education, what a man's success, rate is. I would never come at them like that because I respect other people's dreams. I respect other people's goals. I respect other people's, aspirations, to do great things. So when I see something like Kevin Samuels, for instance, I look at him and I don't just see his win as a win for him. I see that as a small win for all of us brothers because he says a lot of the things that all of us say. All right. I mean, he puts a message out there that's been a message of many of us, on the internet, on YouTube, if you will.
Right. Exactly. It's like, okay, look, at the end of the day, you want to reach the goal. Now, some people's goal is to be a big star, or whatever the case may be on YouTube. That's not my goal. I don't care about that. Okay. I got a show because I want ideas to be out here. Now, if somebody picks up on one of my ideas and uses it and it becomes common parlance in the language that men use to make sense of their experiences in the manosphere, that's enough for me. Okay. That's enough for me. But some guys feel like this shit is like copyrightable. Like if you say something similar to what they said, like you stole my song.
Yeah.
Like that old Fred Sanford son, Sanford and Son episode where he's like, I want my daddy's records back. Bubba. I want my daddy's records back. Like, look, the goal is to get a better condition for black men and boys in the society, man. And it comes from women hearing the opinions of men, black men that have been denied to be heard for too long. It is, if one of us blows up, all of us blow up, especially if we stay in connection with each other and form like Voltron and stop hating each other and stop disparaging each other. That's what the issue is, man. But some people, man, just don't, I guess they never had brothers. They never had real good friends. I don't know. I can't speak to it. But one thing about it is friends, like you said, they delight in one another's success. They're happy
Absolutely.
and proud of people who are successful. They support their ideas and their dreams. They do. And my dream is not necessarily to make a documentary, but to get the ideas out there. And we need to be thinking big, not little. We need to be thinking large, not small. We need to be thinking that the sky's the limit, not limited to just YouTube. That's my opinion.
Yep.
But that's just my view. Now, maybe your little small little world ain't nothing but YouTube. Fine. That's, cool. Be the big fish in the little pond. Be the catfish. Eating shrimp or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But we need to stop knocking each other's hustle, man.
For
We need to stop.
sure.
We need to stop attacking each other. And I'm not getting involved in that bullshit, bro. That's why, like, even in the Nation of Islam, I know a lot of brothers in it. Like if you got beef, if you got an issue with a man, you bring it to that man. Ain't all this shit about, man, this nigga,
Yep.
this nigga like this nigga like that, this motherfucker doing this. No, wait, I'm not gonna hear that. Seems like you got some issues with him. You need to work out. If you need to work them issues out with that man, you need to go to that man. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you engage in that bullshit. Now it takes a community of men to understand that, to dead it at the beginning. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
but if you got men feeding into that bullshit and gossiping, then that's what you got. That's not manly behavior to me, man. Because if you got beef with a man, you bring it to the man. That's it.
Yep.
So, and then also that would require you to be humble also, or at least be violent, and to take it to its logical conclusion. which is unnecessary to me. But I mean, at least it would get carried to some terminus, some end. You know what I'm saying? But like, if I got an issue with a dude, man, I'm gonna bring it to the dude, or at least confront the dude and have a conversation with the dude if he makes himself available. But some guys like to keep up confusion, man. I don't like that shit. I just, I got peace. As much as little peace I can get in my life, man, I don't need beef that is not connected to reality. This shit is the matrix, bro.
Yep.
Social media is the fucking matrix, man.
It sure is, man.
But we say we red pill. We say we red pill. But the fucking social media is the matrix, man. It's a virtual reality, bro.
Yep.
And now I got some virtual reality beef. Man, get the fuck out of here, man.
Virtual
Stop
reality
it,
beef.
Man,
You ready to take a few questions from the folks?
Yes, sir.
If they have any. And also, y'all need to get on down there, man, and check out Brother Green Gorilla's channel. He's got some really interesting streams, some really interesting stuff, and your black asses might learn something if you go down there with an open mind. You know how we say it down here, open your mind. So if you go down there with an open mind, your black behinds might just learn something. Get on down there, man, and check out Brother Green Gorilla's channel, man. He's doing big things down there, and his brother is with it, man. He's official, man, and he's not about that BS like the rest of us.
Hey,
but
man,
go ahead.
Look, I'm trying to stay away from the BS, man. I'm trying to stay sucker free. You know how that go.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
they used to say sucker free in '93.
and it ain't easy because that sucker crap, man, will make its way to you, man. Even if you stay away from it, it'll make its way to you. It'll find its way in your chat and all this old kind of foolishness.
You just love me. You just love me and don't want to admit it.
Yeah, that's all, Brother Green Gorilla. I say this all the time, right? Because I talk to my brothers, and I talk to some brothers behind the scenes, because some of these brothers I actually know in real life. Brothers that I talk to on the phone. And we discuss these things. And it's like, you got these people who claim they hate you so much, but they're always in your damn chat. They're always talking about you. And my thing is, stop perpetrating as a hater. You're just a fan, man, perpetrating as a hater. Because see, if I hate you, if I hate what you do, and I don't, yes, I hate on you by not watching your stuff. If you're somebody that I don't deal with, you will never see me in your chat room, ever. You will never see me in your comment section, ever. I don't know what you're doing down on your channel because I do not watch it. I'm not subscribed to you. All right. I don't. So if I'm one of your haters, you won't even know it. Right. I can't even be down there to dislike your videos. Why? Because I'm not there. I'm not there. So I hate on you by staying away from you. That's how I hate on you. I'm not going to be a person where I don't like what you do, and every time you turn around, I'm throwing jabs at you inside your chat room, forcing you to block me. I'm in your comment section. I'm on other people's streams talking about you. Come on, man.
That's like the little girl that act like she don't like you. She keep punching you and shit.
Yeah, she keep hitting you in the head and pulling your shirt and poking you and stepping on your sneaker and crap like that. And that's what it is. That's what I'm saying, man. A lot of people on media, Brother Green Gorilla, a lot of these people, man, just haven't grown the hell up, man. They just haven't grown up, man. They still acting like, they're in elementary school, except that they big ass 30 and 40 and 50-year-old men acting like elementary school folks. It's just the craziest of things. But if y'all have questions for Brother Green Gorilla, the G with the PhD, y'all know what to do. Put the question in the chat. I will bring it up on the board. And I'm sure Brother Green Gorilla won't have any problems answering your questions. Y'all know how we do it here. Um, since you've been on YouTube, right? And your channel has grown quickly.
Slowly.
Do you it's grown slowly, or but you
Well,
said you've only been on YouTube what, for like a year, right?
yeah. Well, maybe I
You've been
got
on
high expectations of some shit, man.
Yeah, because you've been on for like a year, and I know, and it's crazy that we were talking about Brother Samuels, because Brother Kevin Samuels told me a while back when he was coming on my show. He was like, "Look," he said, "X," he said, "you don't got a lot of subscribers now." But this was back when I had like, I don't know, 800 subscribers when he was on, and he said, "But once you get to like 2-3 thousand," he said, "that's when the bullshit starts." He said, "Long as you ain't up to like 2 or 3 thousand, you won't have no problems. You won't have no issues." He said, "You won't even have any haters." He said, "But once you get to like 2-3 thousand, though," he said, "that's where all that shit begins." Was that the case? Was that the case with you? As long as you stayed under, like, say, 2,000 subscribers or whatever, you didn't have any haters or beef. But once you got there, it was they revealed
Man,
themselves.
man, nobody hated my channel till I started to try to make a fucking documentary, man. I'm keeping it 100, man, until I said, "Hey, let's make a documentary to reveal the viewpoint of black men in the space. Let's get that shit out there for the public." Until I did that, man, everybody was like cool with it as a motherfucker. But then after that, that's the
That
point.
was
And
it.
I had about maybe at that time 2,800. Some I was like around 3,000 or a little bit
Oh,
over or under.
that's
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
the danger number. 3,000 is the danger number. That's the danger number.
So then after that, that was the point. That was the boiling point right there. Just at that point, it was like, oh, everybody was like gung ho. And then it was all good just a week ago, like Too Short
Hmm.
and Jay-Z. It was all good just a week ago. Then next thing you know, I'm like, damn, what, you mad because I got an idea? Like I'm trying to do some shit like that extends beyond the fucking realm of YouTube? Like, is that's not acceptable, huh? Because I gotta be just a regular ass nigga, right?
Yeah.
Like, which I am, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but god damn, like my boy called me today. He's a sheriff in the St. Louis Sheriff's Department. And he told me today that he was gonna be running to be the head sheriff, the chief. And he said he's gonna be doing that in the next 3 years. And I have full support for that brother, man. The first thing I'm gonna do is what? Congratulations, dog. What can I do to help? You understand what I'm saying? His boy ran for the sheriff this past year, and I wrote a few speeches for the brother, man, and tried to help him out. And he had some mishaps in his campaign ambitions, but my boy said, "Look, I'm going to succeed where he failed," and I have the expectation that this man's going to be able to do it. You always have to go into whatever you're doing thinking it's going to be successful, and the hatred comes along with it, man. I just thought that men in the manosphere were more evolved than what they were. That's my only thing. I just thought we were actually on task, that we knew what the root of the problems were. That there's a big bad world out there that's seeking to fucking crush and destroy us. But in reality, a lot of times we want to destroy each other. Can't stand. It's like you get a Cadillac on the block in the 70s or something, and then another motherfucker side eyeing you. He mad at you because you got the brand new Cadillac and shit, and he ain't got it.
Yeah.
Like, damn, man. Look, I know it's fucked up out here, but that Cadillac, that's gonna come between us now. That's what it is. I even seen women do this shit where you get a job or something and they start hating on you. Oh, that motherfucker got a better job than I got. Oh, but you think you better than me now? Like, man, take it easy, man. Pull your skirt down. You know.
What I, what I think it is, Brother Green Gorilla. I don't even think, and maybe I'm forecasting too much when it comes to black folks inside our quote unquote society. I don't think that they think that you think you're better than them. I think they think that. They think you're better than them. It's not about what you may possibly think. Maybe that's how they're casting it. Like, oh, he thinks he's better than me because he's got a Cadillac and I got a Pinto. No, you think he's better than you because he has a Cadillac and you have a Pinto. That I think is the very problem. I think people do a lot of projecting. They do a lot of projecting of their own thoughts about people, and they will turn it around and say, that's what this particular person thinks about me. When deep down inside, it's them who think that about themselves. Now, I may be wrong about that, but
Man,
I mean,
look,
that's always been my view.
Big X, I got a saying, man. If you think I think I'm better than you, then I probably am.
Yeah, right.
And it ain't because I am better. It's because you tripping off me.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you think I think I'm better than you, because first of all, I'm not thinking about you. Because my
True.
thoughts are not centered around trying to be better than another motherfucker. My thoughts are on trying to be better than myself.
Yep.
That's me. That's how I that's how I present myself. I'm trying to outdo me. I ain't trying to
Yep.
outdo nobody else. I'm trying to live up to my full potential. Now, if I see what you're doing and I'm like, damn, that motherfucker, that's some dope shit. That motherfucker blew up. What I will, like you said, I will study that shit and figure out, like, damn, what can I do to make my shit better? Apparently, what
Mhm.
I'm doing is not working. What can I do
Yep.
to get my shit better? And do it. Don't sit there and just sit. Don't get engaged in negative prayer and cursing another motherfucker. Get on your grind and do you, whoever you are, and whatever you're doing. Get on your grind and do you. That's the end result, man. And man, look, I appreciate you coming. Well, not coming, but bringing me here, man. I do, man. And you always show me love, man. So I'm gonna always show you love. Anytime you ask me to, appear or do something, bro, I'm there because I know you're gonna respect me, and you're gonna engage me with sincerity, and I appreciate that, brother.
Oh, absolutely, man. I always try to have, like you, I have a baseline, respect, for what brothers do here. Brothers have always shown me love and respect. I got a few people out there, man, who, try to do whatever, as far as I'm concerned, but the shit never goes nowhere because see, I'm more well respected than they are. Um, because of how I deal with brothers, man. I give all brothers from all walks of life a voice here, man. I mean, people that I totally disagree with have been on my channel.
Right,
So,
as it
and
should be.
yeah, I mean, people that, their ideology, their politics, their whatever, the way they deal with their life or the way they deal with women, all that kind of stuff. I totally disagree with a lot of people who have been on my channel, and I give them all a voice. I mean, women have been on here. Everybody has been on this channel over the course of the past, say, 5 years, 6 years. Some of everyone has been here, and not just inside the YouTube space. I've had people on this show that are outside of this space. I've had entertainers and folk heroes and speakers and lawyers and doctors and people outside of the so-called YouTube arena have been on here. And some of them, guess what? I disagree with some of the things they say, but that would never stop me from, number one, respecting them as a person. Number two, giving them a voice on my stuff. And number 3, inviting them back if they wish to come back, even though I could have totally disagreed
Right.
with 80% of the stuff they said that night. Guess what? If they want to come back, I will let them come on back. I sure will. Even though I know most of the stuff they're going to talk about when they come back, I'm going to disagree with that too. But I will still let them come back because I'm the type of person where I try to have a baseline respect, man, for people in general, man. You know, I mean, whether we agree or not, man, I'm not going to bring you up on my stream and disrespect you, you know. And likewise, I'm not going to go on someone else's stream and talk about you. That's something I don't do. I mean, there's people in the chat room right now who have my personal phone number. They talk to me all the time. Guess what? Not one person in that chat room who has my number can say, well, you know, when me and X talk, you know, he be talking crap about this person, that person. Because I don't. I don't disparage people offline or online. That's just not who I am. I've never been that way. And I'm going to try to go to my damn grave. I ain't going to no grave. I already told my wife I want to be cremated. So I'm going to my urn that way, folks.
Yeah, so we finally got one question. Look, we finally got
Yeah.
one question.
Yeah, we got something for you from Brother T. Riddler. What's good with it, Brother T. Riddler? He says, question for the Green Gorilla. Did you formally reach out to major content creators in the sphere to share your intent to do a doc, or did you announce it publicly? I wonder if how you announced caused contention.
Before I came out, I had I won't, you know, I did ask some content creators. And you know, like I'm not into the doxing and shit like that, you know, or being mad or angry at the content creators. I mean, they had their reasons for doing what they did, how they did it, you know. But at the end of the day, I did in private reach out to some content creators, and you know, I asked for content that they might want to, you know, present in order to, you know, cast their light on their issues about what they think, you know, or the issues that are impacting the lives of black men. And you know, I just after the initial agreement, I didn't hear anymore. You know what I'm saying? So the people that I did hear from were people who are already on task, like, okay, let's get it, let's do it. But for whatever reason, you know, some of these guys are like, fuck it, no. Mm-mm. And you know, it might be the Highlander syndrome piece, or you know, I'm bigger than he is already. Like, look, it was just an idea, man. Now, you know, I'm not in a race to be the biggest man in the manosphere. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking to get work done. So my answer to the question, yeah, I came in private to some guys, got their approval, and then when the shit was ready to go, you know, I just didn't hear from them anymore. And you know, I'm not the type of guy to, you know, chase behind motherfuckers. I'm not about to kiss your ass. If you orientated towards justice to black men, let's get the justice for black men shit going. If you know you got a hang up about it, no disrespect, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bug you about it though. So yeah, I did ask. I asked BGS. BGS gave me a list of names. I contacted those individuals and gained the consent of a few. A few said, "Nah, I'm good." But for the most part, those who you know signed on was like they went AWOL. Like, damn, what I do? What did I do? I really didn't do shit other than try to work on a project to cover issues related to black men and boys. That's it, man. I just like if we don't think bigger than what we think, and you know we're scared of another motherfucker blowing. Like imagine not exposing yourself because you don't want another motherfucker next to you to blow up or some shit. I don't know if that's it. I really can't say. All I can say is, come on, man. Like that, we got to think bigger than that. It's and if like you said earlier, T.P.O.T. If you doing it, don't mean I'm not doing it. If you blowing up is going or any other man in the manosphere blows up, it opens up an avenue for you to blow up.
Hmm?
It lifts all boats like a rising tide.
Yeah.
You know,
Clearing the
so
path.
it's just simple, man.
They've
So
opened the
yeah, we got
doors.
another question. We got another question there.
All right, from Risa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm assuming that's Lady Risa. And question: where do you see your brand in 5 years?
In 5 years, my face will be shown. Right now, for whatever reason, that I'm keeping it on the low. For legal reasons, I'm not showing my face. But uh, eventually, I plan on interviewing people like T.P.O.T is. Uh, bringing different people, from all different walks of life on to share and express their opinions about a variety of issues impacting Black people. And hopefully, we can even I'll start interviewing some women. But I don't want to always talk about relationships. My whole thoughts on the relationship issues are, look, I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life and how to be a better you. All I'm trying to say is, look, we got some justice issues to work on, which anybody should be ready to work on, because if you're an advocate of justice, you should be working towards it. It's
Mhm.
compulsory as far as I'm concerned. But but at the end of the day, uh, I don't really perceive myself as a brand at all. I just perceive myself as a member of the public sphere, and to continue on doing what I'm doing, and to get better at it. I guess right now, I'm an avatar. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. But eventually, I want to, at least when I get to 10,000 followers or whatever the case may be, I'll probably move out of this avatar and show my face, and bring other people on and create a different kind of vibe with the show. That's what I intend to do. And bring intellectuals on, officers on, bring feminists on, so we can talk and have dialogue, the whole nine. you know. And I've done some of that, but it's I don't know how you do it, T.P.O.T, man, getting all these different people from all walks of life to come on and to coordinate the times and the schedules. It's it's
Uh,
it's work, bruh.
yeah, it's a pain in the ass most of the time, but
It's work.
it's a pain in the ass.
It's a
But
big
see, I have I came from radio. All right, I'm a former radio guy. I used to do radio. I did radio for a few years. So I kind of rely on, my connections, because a lot of these people that I bring from outside of the space are people who used to be on my radio show back in the day, or people that are linked to them. So I can kind of get them. When it comes to YouTube, it's not hard to get anybody. I mean, I can get pretty much anybody from YouTube that I'm aligned with to come on, whether they somebody with 100,000 subscribers or somebody with 100, because, I'm kind of aligned with pretty much everybody. I'm grateful for the fact that brothers, have that baseline respect for me, where they be like, yeah, X, I'll come on. So I rely on that, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the fact that these brothers are willing to come on my stuff, and like I said, I got people who have 100 and some odd thousand of subscribers who come on, and then I got people who got 150 subscribers, and everybody in between. Um, People I agree with, people I totally disagree with. Uh, Women, they'll come on too. Some of them, I mean, a lot of them don't like me because they think, they got it in their mind that I hate Black women, even though I've been married to the same Black woman for 20 years, got 2 adult grown daughters and 3 Black granddaughters. But they say I hate Black women. So a lot of them, they ain't trying to fuck around down here. But it
Yeah,
is what it
man.
is, man. It is what it is, man.
But
It is what it
I,
is.
I assume that a lot of Black women don't like me either, and the content of my show, and that's fine. But what I've noticed from women is that if you don't empathize with their pain, you're a misogynist. If you even
Yep.
get them to try to empathize with your pain, you've done something unmanly.
Yeah.
Like these women don't have empathy for us. That's the issue, and it's unnatural for a woman not to be able to empathize with somebody that she perceives as being a partner or a mate. It's unnatural, man. And this is where we are. But I think your professionalism is what allows you to have people come holler at you, man. It's the respect level because you give respect. So you give respect, you receive respect. You give out that bullshit energy, you get that bullshit energy back.
Of course.
That's
Of
just how life
course.
is, man.
Of course. I'm gonna, like I said before, man, I'm gonna respect you even if I totally disagree with your ass. I mean, that's just the way it is, man.
Dude, like, look, as an academician, man, you go to you go to conferences and you speak to people and you argue, right, about issues, and they present things that you might not have thought about. They raise objections and shit like that. And then guess what you do after that? You go have a fucking beer somewhere.
Yep.
And you either further the dialogue, and it's a sincere kind of dialogue. It's not like, oh, well, fuck your personhood because you don't agree with me. It's like, I want to understand your position more. I think you're wrong, but well, what about X, Y, and Z? And then you get into different topics, of discussion. So it's a different thing, though, man. When you're a professional, like you work in radio or something like that, you know how to separate yourself from the argument. Like it's a level of professionalism, but some people, they can't divorce themselves from their ideas to save their lives, and
Exactly.
and
And it hurts us. It hurts a lot of us, man, to be like that, man. I mean, like you said before, man, some of us, man, we're so wrapped up, in the internet and media and YouTube that, we just thinking about people, even though we ain't on, we sitting somewhere and we thinking about this person that we have a problem with on the internet.
Man, that shit, that's like playing a video game or some shit, and then you still tripping with the motherfucker you was playing with, and you mad that they didn't make a certain move. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, the shit is ideas, man. Now, yeah, people are related to or wedded to ideas that they think are right, but the more right you think you are, the more wrong you can be. You should always be open-minded and flexible. And I pride myself on being flexible, man. I know I don't have all the answers. I have a perspective, and I'm sure people have a difference of opinion than I do all the time, because it's to be expected. But as black men, though, it's sad to see, man, brothers, calling each other bitch ass niggas and shit on YouTube, man. Talking about, I'm gonna
Yeah,
pull up, I'm
man.
gonna fuck your ass up, nigga.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt you, nigga. I'm gonna kill you and all this shit. Like, man, cut it out, dog.
I hear that stuff. I hear that so much, man, that it's like, geez, man, like I don't know how much more I can hear that particular ad hominem. It's been said so much that to me it's kind of lost meaning. If you say that to me, it probably wouldn't even bother me because it doesn't even mean anything at this point.
First of
But we
all, I
gotta
ain't gonna. First of all, I
go ahead.
wouldn't telegraph I'm about to kill a nigga, for one. For two,
Absolutely not.
for two, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna incriminate myself over the airway. For three, you know what I'm saying? You ain't did shit to me worthy of being killed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
It's ridiculous, man.
we got another question for you. He said, for Green Gorilla, what led you to study philosophy? Did you think about the financial prospects of the field prior to going in that direction?
Well, I kind of went over this before, but I'll go into it again. I got into philosophy because I enjoyed it. I was studying, chemistry pre-med, and I hated it. It wasn't enjoyable work for me. Uh, and I switched gears and took, some of the core requirements. And my favorite courses were philosophy. I'm better at reading and writing and interpreting and outlining and adumbrating viewpoints than I am at balancing equations and, you know, understanding how atoms with one electron in their valence shells, how they rotate, and what they're what they have affinities for. It wasn't interesting, man. It was completely uninteresting to me. All right, now to someone else, it might have been the most interesting and fascinating subject in the world. It just wasn't fascinating for me, and so I had a natural inclination to philosophy, and so it was made up front to me. You're not going to be rich doing philosophy. You'd be much more rich being an attorney, and you have the aptitude to be one. But this is a good life. Having this kind of degree, and so money wasn't my motivator. Having something that I love to do was my motivator. So that's how that falls in line for me. I wasn't looking to get rich off having a PhD in philosophy. That's not what I went for.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I was always told as a young man that, you would be successful. My father would say you would be successful, son, if you're doing something that you would do even if you weren't getting paid for it. He said, if you're willing to do it for no pay, he said that's going to be the thing that you're going to be successful at. And when he told me that, I was like, what the hell is this old man talking about? I didn't understand it because he told me that when I was like 12, and
Right.
he was right. I mean, what I do for a living, I love doing it. I probably would do it, if I wasn't getting paid for it. And I have done some of it without getting paid for it. So that's usually going to be something you stick with, folks. Something that because nothing's worse. Because trust me, I've lived this life too. Nothing worse than going to a job that your ass hate every day.
Man.
You wake up every day, and the only reason why you go there is because you get a check every Friday. You hate the job. You hate the people you work for. You hate the people you work around. That's not that's not a recipe for success. It's not. Now, I'm not disparaging people who have jobs that they got to hold on to take care of themselves and their families. But what I'm saying is this: if you really want to be a success at something, do something that you would do even if you weren't getting paid for it. That's just my advice, y'all. Now, y'all can totally disregard it if you want to, but too late, I already said it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
already
I
said
feel the same way, man, and I felt that way since I was younger. I had an opportunity, like when I first came out of college, man. The interim period, uh, I worked as I don't know if you ever heard of Rallies Hamburgers. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
So
Yes. I have.
yeah, I went out and they were looking for a manager of one of these restaurants to eventually become like a district manager. So, I'm fresh out of college, man. I got a PhD. I mean, not a PhD, but a undergraduate philosophy degree. Uh, and I hadn't, been admitted to any graduate school as of that time. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, what job opportunities exist for me out here? And so that's one thing that I applied for, and they called me back, and you know, I mean, they were preparing me to be a district manager, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
that's 100K off the bat. You know what I'm saying? Like you running 5, 6 different hamburger joints. You know what I'm saying? So uh I was like, man, look, I did it for a while, then I got accepted into graduate school. I was like, man, I'm done with this shit. Like I hate this. You know what I'm saying? It's not fun at all, man. Counting supplies and shit, bread and patties and hot links and shake mix and shit. I'm like, man, this is some crazy shit. And it's hard ass work, man. Like
Curly fries.
man, it's man, I was eating up some shit for free. Now, don't get it twisted. And it was legal to eat it for free. Like but man, and I was getting hate then because the employees were like, "You're not paying for that." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I'm a manager. I don't have to pay for it. It's in the manual. Have you read your manual? Oh, I forgot. You're not on that level of this business." But I mean, they were like, "You need to give away food." I would give away food. Yeah, I did trick off with the food sometimes. Pretty girl came to the drive-through, be like, "Damn, you need to try this out." blah blah blah. You can't give away the food. I can give away food. It tells me I'm supposed to.
Cause rallies, I'm thinking rallies and checkers are like the
They're
same
affiliated.
thing, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
affiliated.
they're like the same shit. Yeah,
Yeah, they're affiliated. Yeah,
I know what
you
that
know, they
is.
got different names in different geographical
Yeah,
locations. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because we have those here where I'm at. I'm in North Carolina, so I think we have rallies and checkers here. I do believe. But we got another question for you from brother C Shields. He says, question for Green Gorilla. Do men choose their mission or is our mission preordained? Damn, good question.
Wow, that's a heavy question too. That's a philosophical question. It all depends on what area of life you're talking about. You know, when you talk about career, of course not. But there's a genetic kind of mission that I think most men are preordained to have, and it's just unfortunate that in the culture we live in, men can't even live up to what naturally they have the aptitude to live up to. You know, men want to have a legacy. They want to have a family. They want to have children to love and honor them and respect them. You know, so I think that's preordained for men. And I do understand though, under the current social scheme that we have, that men would like kind of shy away from it because they get nothing out of the deal. They don't even get, if the woman decides to be adamant about it, they don't even get access to their children like they should, you know? And that's unfortunate, but I would say it's half and half. And I'm not trying to avoid the question, you know, and be evasive, but say men do choose though. At some point, you have to make a decision about what it is you're going to do with your life, whether you succeed or fail, you know. But at some point, you know, as a young person, you know, in your 20s, 30s, or whatever the case may be, you might be trying to figure things out. But at some point, you got to make a decision and throw your weight into it, you know. Uh, but I would say that, you know, as it pertains to career, yeah, you got to make a choice. But when it pertains to, like, you know, the family, the institution of family, you got to make a choice with that too now. But I think that, you know, what you preordained to do, you can't even hardly do the right way in this culture. It's unfortunate. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's. I mean, I'm not trying to be evasive by saying that either. So, um, but you know, that's the you know, there's a philosophy called existentialism. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but one of the, you know, things that it espouses is the idea that, you know, you're free and you have to make choices, and that's just the condition of life. You have to make choices, and the idea that, you know, some people will avoid making choices because they're afraid, and this creates anxiety, you know, having to choose one thing or the other. But in the end, you're determined to be free. There's nothing you can do other than choose. Even if you choose not to choose, you made a choice. So, you know, find something you love to do, like P.O.T was talking about, man, and that way it'll make your burden easier. I think that, you know, most human beings, man, like to work, especially when they like to do a project that you know, they have the, you know, the essence of who they are tied into. Like I would do the Green Gorilla channel even if it wasn't monetized. I would still do it. The only thing I don't like is just the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that what T.P.O.T and I was talking about earlier. I just don't like all the bullshit and the threats and the, you know, the slander. But, you know, I would still do it regardless. Yeah. Because I enjoy this, man. I'm creative. I like making music. I'm artistic, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So I like to talk and educate. So I'm gonna do shit like this regardless. So yeah,
Yeah, excellent question though.
that's a great question.
He
Yeah.
he says he's in his 20s and he's been wrestling with that, you know, with that question. And the fact that you're in your 20s, young fellow, and you're thinking on that level, I think that you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right
you're
too, man.
Yeah, you're going to be just fine, young fella. Because most dudes in their 20s ain't even thinking about that type of thing. They thinking about every other thing that's totally irrelevant to setting them a place in life. They're thinking about all the other shit. They're thinking about women. They're thinking about Call of Duty, Madden, the new Jordans that's coming out, the new smartphone. That's what's on their mind. So if your mind is on what do you need to do to choose for your mission, or whether or not your mission is already ordered for you, you're going to be fine, young fella. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah, first
Just
of all, being worried about what you need to be doing is the first sign that you're coming close to being, a full grown ass man.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
knowing that, it's you have a duty to do something. You're called to do something. Some men find out what it is that they, are supposed to be doing really relatively early, but some other men it takes time. And don't be afraid to try different things out. You're young. You have room to grow. So yeah. Don't be hard on yourself if you ain't got it quite figured out, but do the best that you can to try to figure it out and just try out different things and you know do shit that's unconventional as well. Try those things out, man. You never know what you might love. But be humble, bruh, so that way you can
Uh-huh.
learn. That one thing you got to do. This is the shit that kills me about us as a people, man. We think we know everything already, bruh. We don't like instruction, do we?
Yeah, we already know it all, so no one can tell us jack.
Boy, boy,
We
boy, boy.
already We already know it all, so nobody can tell us anything. No one can offer us any instruction, guidance, counsel, any of that. Because see, we already know everything already. So what is there to tell? And I feel like this: if you got a person who in their life say they don't need to learn anything, that person need to just go ahead. They might as well go in the backyard and chop off a foot, because they've just handicapped themselves once they got to the point where they're like, oh, I don't need to learn anything. Just go in the backyard and saw a foot off. That's the same thing. That's the equivalent.
Yeah, man.
Saw it right off.
Yeah, any man that thinks he's got all the answers,
Yeah.
everything figured out, and can't take instruction and counsel from somebody else. First thing you got to realize is you're not able to know everything. It's just impossible, man. So yeah.
Yep. We got a question from Brother Kenneth Evans. Appreciate that question, Brother Kenneth. He says, regarding men thinking bigger than their current station, what books would you recommend to increase self-actualization?
Man, the dopest book I've read about that, even though it's kind of metaphysical, it's philosophical, but it's not conventional philosophy, man. It's a book written by a guy named Raul Neffer, man, called The Medu Netter, man. Read that shit. It'll blow your brain. Yeah. Thinking bigger than your current station. What books would you recommend? The Metu Netter. Raul Effer. Amen.
Hmm.
You ever read that book, man? Any of y'all ever read that? Man, that's a dope
No,
ass book.
never heard of it, but I'm writing it down because I might have to pick it up.
Yeah, his book is it's about the tree of life meditation system. And so basically what he says is he says like the Greeks have an incomplete view of the soul, but the ancient Cometians split the soul into like 10 different parts. There's 0, 1 through 9. Okay. And 9 is the physical manifestation, 0 is undifferentiated matter. And it's not taking on any form whatsoever. It's absolute potential. And the 9 is completion, it's particular instantiation of the essence, the absolute, undifferentiated matter. It's just a incarnation of the divine. So the idea is you're a human being, but your essence is divine. You could be anything. You could do anything you want to do within a certain limitation. So uh, it's a dope ass book, dog. Rue, dog. Yeah, it's a great book, man, and it gets you to think past your limitations. It's like it's a dope book, man. So yeah, I would recommend it. I don't want to let all of the cat out of the bag about the book, but it's about meditating on what it is that you want to do beforehand, seeing yourself, envisioning yourself actually completing the task, and understanding who you are as a being, an incarnation of divine being. And so it's just a great book, man. It's yeah.
Did you say Dr. Raul Nefer Amen? That's what you
Yes.
said, right?
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Green Gorilla?
Yes.
All right. Let me see
Not
something.
necessarily doctor. I don't know if he's a doctor, um, but Raul Nefer Amen. It's that's his name. Raunnefer. Raun Nefer.
I believe this is him,
Yeah,
folks.
that's him right there, man.
I believe
He's
this
got
is him.
videos on YouTube too. Yeah, he's got some videos on YouTube. But the book is, man, like I have a friend of, he was in a PhD program in organizational psychology, and I was in the philosophy program, and we met up because there's not too many black men in PhD programs, you know, wherever you attend school. So, um, yeah, it was just dope, man, because he gave me the book and he was like, man, like this is some deep shit, and indeed it is. It's deep. So yeah, check that out.
All right. Got another question from J De Niro 1. He says, is it real man can only achieve 9 levels, and would born really be 10 conception to birth?
Yeah, he on the 5% shit. I ain't done all my lessons, man. On how to decipher what the essence of that question is. But put it this way, okay? So that's an esoteric question. I don't really know how to decipher it all the way, but speaking on Raul Nefer, dog, without sounding like mumbo jumbo, bruh. So this is how the shit goes. You have so he basically says that the gods of ancient Kemet are not really gods. Like how you normally perceive like Hercules and Osiris, like people would worship the gods like we worship Jesus or something. Like there's a man in the sky somewhere. Now, according to Round Effort, that's not what the gods represent at all. The gods are beings, but not like how we consider being, because the ancients think about being altogether differently anyway. Like, so even if you think about like eros or love, like love exists. It does. Erotic love exists in nature. So it is a being, but it's a manifestation of being that they deified and represented with a particular visual representation, image representation of that form of being. So he says, like, okay, so if you look at the gods, so you got Aset, you have Geb, you have uh, Osiris, you have Heru, you have Tehuti, you have Isis. You got you got all these different types of deities, but they correspond to parts of your soul or parts of being itself. So um, you are a physical being, but you're more than that. And so, I mean, but human beings are different than other beings. We have a form of intelligence that's different, and we can tap into it the way that other creatures can't. And so a lot of times we don't manifest what we can, but we should, if we knew the right practices. A lot of times human beings are on autopilot. That's your natural orientation, to be, led by your habits, but you can control your habits. And the ancient science is the art of learning how to reprogram yourself so you can have new habits. and that's why the book is so dope to me. So my boy, who was a PhD in organizational psych, is the one who first tipped me off to it. So I think it's a great book. And
Yeah, I'm
Jay De
sitting
Niro
up.
was clowning me with that crazy shit. He's yeah, he's fucking me up, man. But I
I
mean,
was
I
sitting
did
up
try
here
to answer
looking
the
at this.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting up here looking at the book, and it says here, if you go through, if you go through abooks.com, if you go to the Metu Netta Volume 1, the great oracle of Tahuti and the Egyptian system of spiritual cultivation, it's going to set your ass back about $140. So I hope y'all got that.
Man, that
Um,
shit, man. It's a book on there, man. That shit is on PDF form, bro. I guarantee you, man. I guarantee you there's
I'm
another.
just fucking. I'm just fucking with my folks.
Oh, okay. I was about to say,
No,
man.
I'm just fucking with them. I'm just fucking with them. All right, let me see. Jay De Niro got another question in here. He said, in Latin, there are seven forms of love. Be wary of people that use love as a blanket statement. Are you asking questions, man, or are you making statements? Or are you just trying to get your
Get
whatever
his
off,
rocks off.
uh, brother Jay De Niro? Which is fine if that's what you're trying to do, but we just need some clarity. That's all. That's all. Because I don't even think that that's a question for real. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a question for real.
But
But
it is a
go ahead.
philosophical statement, though. What I know about love is the three different types, not the seven different types. But you got erotic love, you got filial love, and then you got something called agape love. So, erotic love is just fucking. It's physical. Okay, physical attraction. We already know right now what chemical actually causes erotic attraction, oxytocin. All right. Then you got filial love, which is brotherly love, love of friends, or fraternal love. But then you have agape love, which is unconditional love. Um, I don't know if anybody has that nowadays,
Yeah.
especially especially nowadays, man. It just, especially when it comes to black relationships, man. It's like, damn, where's the unconditional love? I just,
Yeah, I don't really think that exists. I mean, and this is coming from a man who's been married 20 years. I just celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary
well,
2 weeks ago.
congratulations, brother.
Oh yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, appreciate it, brother. And I mean, I but when I was out there, hunting for a woman, it was a different time. I mean, I've known my wife 23 years. So you're talking 23 years ago, things were different. Media wasn't so prolific and it didn't have such an influence on our lives as black people back then. Um, I think at that time we were coming to the end of an era where people really kind of cared about people. I think we were coming to the end of that era, when I was out there dating and whatnot. And I look at what goes on now, and you listen to a lot of the younger brothers who talk the way they talk, about women, and I can see why they think the way they think, given what's out there now, um, regardless of how it got to where it is, regardless. I mean, the way things look now, the way, the perception of women are now and the perception of relationships now, I can totally understand why some of the younger brothers are like, you know what, this just ain't for me. Because if I was their age now, I would probably be one of those brothers saying the same thing. Given what I see, if I was like 25, 30 years old, man, I wouldn't want to be bothered with none of this nonsense, man. I wouldn't want to be bothered with none of these situations. I wouldn't want to be bothered with the bulk, of these women. I would be I'd be looking in different places. I'd be doing other things because it's just a lot of it just seems totally ridiculous, and a lot of it seems totally irredeemable at times. So, I mean,
Yeah, man. I mean, uh, when you a woman in today's society and you got the idea that what's yours is yours and what somebody else's is yours, that's a hell of a motherfucking way to look at about life, boy. You know,
Yeah.
a relationship is about relating, being side by side with someone, and really, actually, it's where the two are supposed to become one. But how can two become one if you're getting everything out of the deal, and then the other individual, is always having the sword of Damocles hanging over his head, and he can fall down and kill him at any time, just off your
Yeah.
whim.
Yeah.
That's not a relationship, man. That's a power trip, and women just can't see it. For some reason, they are not able to understand, or maybe they do understand, but just like the power. You know,
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
I've been in and out of relationships, man, and I thought that I've been married, divorced, the whole nine, and been in a relationship, you know, uh, and been fucked around, all kind of crazy shit. So um, it's these things, man. Nowadays, it's just too easy for people to make commitments and then to welch on the commitments. Like, what's the point of making a commitment if you know you're not gonna hold fast to it?
Yeah.
You know, that's the my view on it. So, it's just too easy for people to back out and walk out. And then what are they walking out into? A marketplace
Yeah.
where they already used up, and you already go from relationship to relationship to relationship. It's like, well, damn. When are you going to actually do what it is you're supposed to be doing? You can't keep trying the same shit and pulling the same game over and over and over again, thinking you're going to get a good match one time. That shit, the life don't work like that. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Especially as time goes on, because one thing that everything on this goddamn planet is doing all at the same time is getting older, especially people. I mean, you get to a certain point in your life, and at some point you got to say, well, this is what I really want, right? Now, I think many times we walk into these situations, and I think you got another question from Brother Jay De Niro too, but I mean, we walk into these situations and we say we're ready. We say we're committed. We say this is what we want, but that's just it. We're just saying it. We don't really believe it. Or we're trying to convince ourselves of it as we're trying to convince someone else of it. I think that happens way too much, where we say a lot of things, man, but we really don't believe it, man. We're just talking, because we got lips. So we're saying these things and we're not committed. We're not dedicated to it. We don't really want it. It just seems like the thing to say at that time. And when that time runs out, you just done with it because you never was really committed to it or dedicated to it in the first damn place. But Jay De Niro's back. And he says, mathematically, people speak on birth and the number 9. Yet, if we count from conception, wouldn't it be 10? Pardon the previous miscommunication. Respect.
Yeah, I got you. That's if you start from the number one. But if you start from the number zero or the cipher zero, one could argue. I mean, especially if you're using the tree of life or the Kabbalah or some shit like that. I don't want to get to all this esoteric shit. But if you're starting from zero, then you got 1 through 9. That would add up to 10. That's just my observation on that. I
Well,
know.
do you
Go go ahead.
let me ask you this, brother Green Gorilla, because I ask people this a lot when they come up here, because a lot of the conversations on the internet, especially in this quote unquote space, centers around relationships, women, getting with women, the craziness of women, not being around women. So a lot of the talk is about women. I mean, we talked about it on my channel a few times. I actually used to talk quite a bit about women things a while back. So do you think that those streams where we, they're mostly centered around women, are those streams, I don't want to say are they constructive, but do you think that they accomplish things? Do you think things are accomplished by men discussing the trials and tribulations, the ins and outs of, dealing with women one way or the other?
To the younger guys, I think so, to a certain degree, especially if they are coming into this with this rosy, colored view of the world. Because the world teaches you, you're gonna find a woman, marry her, have kids, y'all gonna be stable. This is gonna be your life. And to the extent the men, I mean, the younger guys already realize this, though. I mean, it seems to me that the deal is not fair. It's not. It's not a deal that leads to people being equally yoked. So I think it's helpful for those guys. But I mean, at some point, you got to realize, like, God, if you constantly focused on a woman, one thing I know about women, man, you can be easily distracted by one. They'll turn everything that you're doing and all the progress you made upside down. So
Yep.
you can't make women your focus. And it's unfortunate, that it seems to me like everybody's just preoccupied with this relationship shit. Like if women are attracted to men who have purpose for real.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think it would be the opposite, but it's not. Like if you constantly focused on a woman, she's going to fucking play you because your world is consumed by that woman, man. You know what I'm saying? So like it's like that's why I say, look, we need to have organizations in some sort of structure where we're doing shit on our own and
Yeah.
exploring our own agency. Like I'm pretty sure that the white guys, I mean, when they founded America, like three quarters, damn near 80% of the population was just men pioneering this motherfucker. For wrong, you can call it, act of violence or whatever, but they didn't even have women here initially. They wanted a quest, a journey, and women were not part of the quest. Now there were temptresses who tried to like just look at the mythology, man. You had men like take for example the Odyssey. Like that shit used to really fascinate me as a kid. You have men who are coming home from war and they're on their way home, and one of the distractions are monsters and women, goddesses and witches and shit. It's trying to demonstrate, look, here are the pitfalls of getting locked into the pussy. Like it just is what it is. If you're locked in to women wholeheartedly, like women don't like simps like that. They don't like them. They
Nope.
don't like them, man.
They
Like the
use them.
baby face shit, man. No, them women don't like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah, they use
sounds
them.
good. You know what I'm saying? It sounds good, but come on, man. Like if nobody likes somebody who's always under them all the time. If you have no
Yeah.
purpose apart from a woman, then you're lost. And that's
Yeah.
why that's why I say in the manosphere of I can put a video out tomorrow about some women. It'll have thousands and thousands of hits. I put out a video about justice related issues or something else. Oh, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear about you say something ignorant to these women.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and then it gets to the point where it's like, damn, are we that gynocentric to the point where we have no mission apart from women? None. Like my brother used to be on me about this all the time. He would always ask Lehman, why you ain't married, bro? Why you ain't got no woman? Because they're distractions. If I'm by myself, I got a 100% chance of being successful. If I'm with a woman, I got a 50% chance of being successful. Because now I got to deal with her and all this extra shit. And nowadays, the one thing about Kevin Samuel's show is, man, you hear all these women and they're looking for a man who can do shit for them.
Yeah.
When the question is asked, well, what can you do for a man? They don't know the answer to that question. They have, and the answer, they know what the answer is, but they're not willing to give it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In other words, make me a meal, love me and respect me, be agreeable. Stop trying to challenge me on every area, a facet of my fucking life. Because look, I ain't saying like, even when I've been in relationships, man, I'm not trying to be like dictatorial, like we gonna do what I say because I said so. But damn, if I do make a decision or if I do want something, give in sometime. Don't try to make it your way all the time. And right now we live in a culture, man, where it's like women are demanding that they have it their way all the fucking time. I just don't know any. That's not a friendship or relationship. Nothing. That's dictation.
Yeah.
And women act like they don't understand this shit.
Yeah,
And then
because a woman's supposed to compliment your style, man. She's supposed to complicate the shit.
man,
She's supposed to complicate your damn style. Because I tell you what, boy, if my woman complicated my style just a little bit, boy, her ass would be gone. So I mean, I never understood how, because I know people who are in relationships, and I know people that have been divorced and all that kind of stuff. And I never understood how a man could tolerate a woman who was just freaking insufferable. I mean, you can't get her to submit to nothing. She fights you on everything. I mean, why would you even remain with this person?
because they don't. A
Because
lot of men are chasing the dragon because they get presented with the representative initially, and everything is good, and they keep chasing the dragon, trying to get back to the way it was. And men don't know
yeah,
how to give up because they're determined to be successful, and they think that they can beat the challenge. But you got to learn how to say, "Hey, look, this is something I can't win,"
yep,
and then move on. But I'm hard headed too. And most men are hard headed. They feel like they can fix anything, they can do it. But this one, you got to realize you can't win this. And but women are trying to win too. And the whole point is, look, if to you this shit is about winning, you already lost. Because
mm-hmm.
what you with a person, so like it's about being a team. If you don't want to see your partner doing well, that says something about you as a person, whether you male or female. You should want to see her win. She should want to see you win. But like nowadays, it's like I don't understand the gender war. I understand it, but like that's why so many men are refusing to play the game. But like I don't want to do content that's consistently centered around women. Because if that's all it is, then what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, I'm always talking about women. Don't I have any interest outside of women? Not like, some gay shit or nothing, but like, do I have any interest in my life that don't have to, deal with me worrying about what a woman is doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
It
it's,
gets a
it's, it's too
it
much
gets a
for me,
little
man.
old. It gets a little old at times. I mean, you hear, and a lot of those streams, and I'm subscribed to a lot of brothers, and a lot of those streams I just stopped watching. No, no jab to them, but a lot of that stuff you just stop watching because a lot of it you've heard before. A lot of this stuff you've heard all before. If you watch one stream, you've seen the other five. So I kind of like listening to brothers when they talking about other stuff. Every now and then, man, I can listen to some of it, but I'm to the point now where, when I listen to folks now, they talking about other shit, man. They talking about real estate. They're talking about investing. They're talking about politics. They're talking about crime and justice. I mean, the woman talk is all right. It's entertaining, but the entertainment value of it wanes by the day for me.
Yeah,
It wanes by the day. So
So there are things that I want to talk about in relation to justice as it pertains to women. But if it's not connected to the issues related to justice, then I'm not here to talk to you about how to find a right woman or some shit like that. Like I personally, I think that women are going to be disagreeable. Period. I mean, like to some extent, you're going to have conflicts in your relationships. But it's not the conflict that's really the issue. It's the power behind the conflict apportioned to them by the state. That's the issue. So my issue is, how do you remedy that? That's my problem, right? That's what I perceive that needs to be adjusted. There's no reason why. So my issue is like, okay, patriarchy is bad. You don't want to have men be in power such that they are able to dictate what happens in women's lives. So what do? You remove the man altogether, and now you have a situation in which the women have patriarchal power. What the fuck is different about it? You haven't solved the problem at all. You just created the reverse of the problem. Now, some people think it's balancing shit out, but I don't see it that way. I see it as, so now you created the conditions in which the family is split apart altogether.
True.
There is no family anymore. The institution of the family has been destroyed, and the state has done it. So, women are relying on the state. That's their zaddy now. That's the husband now. The state. So at the end of the day, I can understand how guys are disgruntled with people who are liberals, especially as those liberals have destroyed the family. That's what they did. So, but I'll talk about that, because you can find a way to remedy that. You can't find a way to remedy the idiosyncratic behavior of another individual. How do you do that? There's no way to do it. And I'm not interested in the various behaviors and what women are saying and trying to convince them of X, Y, or Z, except for if they're talking about ideas. Now, you want to talk about ideas, we can do that. That's something I'm interested in, or policy or justice related to the interaction between men and women. But nowadays, women, I mean, they want all this shit, but just based upon the fact that they have a vagina. Like, I've even heard like women say this shit, like, I'm a hot chick. You should be glad I'm with you. Like, what?
I'm hot. Just be happy that I'm letting you be in my presence.
like, bitch, gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I holler at you. Like, that's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? And women think this way.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but they haven't always thought that way. And it's the media, it's the ideologies that are pervasive now. I just had a woman, because I had a conversation with another woman who's a grassroots organizer in the field of education, and she got some legislation passed, and she did so through the Republican side of a legislative body, and she worked with that particular legislator because they were the ones who were in charge. Okay, and the Democrats were not. So at the end of the day, in having this conversation, we're talking about ideas related to men and women, and that's cool. But like, just talking about incessantly the same shit, like, this is why there's going to be burnout with a whole bunch of content creators. Even like, I hate to say this, it's going to happen with Kevin Samuels as well. Because how many times can you do the same show again and again and again? Like, how many times can you do the same content over and over and over? But men are preoccupied with this shit though. I just, I don't see why. But like my brother used to say, why don't you have a woman? Because they're distractions, bro. Especially if you don't find the right one, who has no fidelity to family, who hasn't had a fidelity to legacy, and just like future generations. Like, these people only care about themselves at this moment. It's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And men don't think that way. So, most men don't think that way because they're prepared to give. They've been taught. They've been encultured to give. They've been. I mean, like everything about relationships is about men paying for shit and providing things and making situations comfortable for women. I did a show on this, man, like about the women of the South, the white women. Man, those men in the Confederacy lost the war. They were humiliated. You guess who? Guess who built them back up? White women.
Yep.
Support system, man. They built them up. They erected statues and shit to honor them everywhere. It was women who did that. The daughters of the Confederacy did that. They organized, created institutions and organizations, raised money to honor men. When have you seen a group of black women get together to honor any man?
Well, they'll march for him when he's laying in the street with his damn brains blown out by the police. I mean, that's about it. That's about as close as that gets to honoring someone.
That's not
And see,
honoring.
you have to already be dead for them to do that.
Man, look, don't give somebody flowers when they're dead. Give them flowers when they're alive.
Exactly.
Like exactly. You can't play this game of, and most of it is performance. This performing outrage at Black Death. But then on the other hand, you do everything you can to besmirch the character of black men. The shit don't add up. That's why Black Lives Matter never added up to me. Okay, so you want to dismantle the patriarchy and get rid of heteronormativity, and you want complete equality and all this shit. But come on, man, like you say you want to work with progressive black men, but yet everywhere you look, you can't find them doing it.
Nope.
And that's the issue. That's what I take umbrage with, and
it's a damn scam / sham. God damn it.
Yeah, that shit. Now you want to talk about some grifting? Them motherfuckers actually made off with the cash, bro. It wasn't no give back. Okay, well, if we don't reach our goal, you can have your money back. No, them motherfuckers actually made off with some bread. Millions. Start buying beachfront property and shit.
Yeah, living good off of it too. Living good off
That's
of that
who
shit.
You ought to be upset about. That's who you ought to be challenging.
Yeah.
I ain't even made off with a bag. I ain't even got a fucking bag. You understand what I'm saying? Like I still get that same kind of action. Like you gotta really you gotta pay attention, man, to what's really going on. Motherfuckers don't want to hit the real targets.
Nope. They just want to hit the ones closest to them.
Man, fuck all that. I'm hitting the real targets. I got issue with the real targets. I had issue with this shit from its inception. I even held a Black Lives Matter banner when I didn't realize what it was when the shit first popped off in Ferguson, because I'm from St. Louis and I was there on the streets when Mike Brown got shot and killed. And then I realized, I was like, wait a minute. They all on camera and shit. They not even from here. Like, what the fuck is going on with this? Then I pulled back, then I started reading the manifesto, the ideals and what they believe in. I was like, wait a minute. Then I started hearing shit. I had a white trans woman call me, because I was friends with this person on Facebook because they're in academia, right? And they know a lot of people I know. So anyway, I became Facebook friends with this person, and I said something that they considered to be transphobic. And this motherfucker got to telling me, I have black male privilege, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Black male privilege? Like I couldn't. Right. That was the first time I had heard it. Okay, and I said, what you mean privilege to go to prison? Privilege to get shot and killed? What the fuck is privileged about my existence? Well, you get this, and there's an assumption that you're supposed to be X, Y, and Z. I'm like, man, look, I don't understand what that shit is. I just don't get it. So that's how I became friends with T.P.O.T Johnson, because I was already friends with Tommy Curry because we're in the field of philosophy together. Okay. But we became friends as soon as I said, look, I don't know who you are, But fuck this whole concept of black male privilege. It sounds like some bullshit to me. And then she started quoting Audre Lorde and other feminist philosophers. I was like, look, man, my experience is I don't know what the fuck privilege is. You mean privilege to, be told that you can't see your kid by a woman who mad at you and got the state on you, making you pay child support? You mean that shit? That privilege? Because that's some bullshit. Don't sound like privilege to me. You mean the privilege to get arrested and fucking locked up because a cop just wants to, exert his authority and, treat you like a nigga? That doesn't seem like privilege to me. So, initially I took umbrage with that. And that's how me and Dr. Johnson became friends like long ago. You know what I'm saying? So,
but shout out to the good doctor, T.P.O.T Johnson, man.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Johnson, man. Yeah, shout out to him, man. He does work, man. It's exemplary almost every day, bringing you insight and information into what's going on in the lives of black men and boys. And I think, one of the things, the narratives he's just trying to point out is the difference. See, women want distributive justice, but they never argue for parity and equality as it relates to retributive justice and punishment. They don't want that shit. They want the benefits of society, but they don't want the burdens of society. And that's why men and women are currently at an impasse.
Yes.
That's why we are at you can't say I want equality, but you ain't willing to take on this burden. Your ass ain't gonna get out there in them hard hats with them M16s and start firing at the enemy, not in bulk. And even if you were to do it, you wouldn't do it as well as men could do it. Yeah. So, it's social engineering and tinkering. It's some new shit, man. Everything changed, man, in the 80s, man. I mean, it's that fulcrum point. It's like that point where it tipped over. So now here we are. And I don't see the center holding for much longer. But this is, I think, why men are preoccupied with this shit. Otherwise, they'd have wives and children and be fucking living and working. And we wouldn't be having these conversations. But I think these conversations will hold for a while. But the question is, like, for men who are content creators, because some men are still on this blue pill shit, right? So they're not even aware. But as more and more men become aware, something has to give. So,
Yeah.
So where they just decriminalized, he said, where they just decriminalized prostitution in New York and cocaine and heroin in Seattle. What do you think that will lead society and relations between men and women? Well, look, I tell people this all the time. Like, people, think crack was like the biggest epidemic. Like, heroin has always been around.
Yeah, it's always existed.
Like dope ain't never, like, dope is not new, man. Like, the media can sensationalize some shit, and to the point where, it'll blow it out of proportion. But most people who use crack don't become addicted to it. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm somebody who sold it. I never did it, but I mean, there are some people who fuck with it and get addicted, just like people get addicted to cigarettes or alcohol or fast food or whatever, but the vast majority of people who use illegal substances don't become hypes. Okay. But that shit is legal. I think it should be legal. I'm a libertarian. I think, like, if anybody wants to harm themselves, let them do it, man. Like, you can't legislate somebody's way into virtue. You can't. Yeah. There's no way to do it.
And you can't legislate common sense. So, I mean, you can't write common sense into no kind of law. People gonna do what they gonna do. And I wasn't aware that they just decriminalized prostitution and cocaine. And I wasn't aware that they decriminalized prostitution in New York and cocaine and heroin in Seattle. I know they had decriminalized marijuana in Seattle, and I believe it's decriminalized in New York to a certain amount. I'm not sure. But the prostitution piece, I wasn't aware of that that they had decriminalized prostitution in New York. Didn't know about that. Think I need to make a phone call and verify that one, brother. Jay De Niro. And now cocaine and heroin is legal as well in Seattle, Washington. I wasn't aware of that one. You
But I
just
mean, you got to
broke
think,
some
man.
news.
Men been
Go
paying
ahead.
for the ass at strip clubs and other places for. They've been doing it anyway. I mean, I guess it'll make it more readily available to a certain group of men who hadn't even, thought about it before, especially if, people are soliciting it, you know, out, what would normally be called pandering or whatever the case may be. But the reality is the drug war, man, started with Harry Aslinger, man, and it was all based on race, man. Cocaine used to be in Coca-Cola. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine that. That puts a new light on having a Coke and a smile. Drugs used to be legal in this country, man, and the country didn't fall apart at the seams. The biggest dope head was a white woman who was staying home at work. I mean, staying home
Mhm.
from work, looking after the family business. Because it was used to be dope and cough syrup,
Yeah.
and so the biggest drug addict was a white woman sipping on syrup. That's
Yeah. A lot. Didn't some doctors prescribed cocaine for certain ailments and inflictions?
oh
They were
yeah,
prescribing it.
oh yeah.
So
So I mean, the jazz musicians used to smoke and Mexicans used to smoke weed, so they outlawed it. Opium was used by the Chinese in the opium dens. And when they say be hip, that's what it's about. Like, doing opium and laying on your side because it'll make you nod and pass out. Um, Cocaine, they also used to be connected to Negroes. Like you're gonna have doped up cocaine, hyped up drug addicts, and they're gonna rape white women. Like these are the
mhm.
kind of things that were said to make these drugs illegal in the first place. But society was not unraveling at the seams when these drugs were legal. It just wasn't. But I mean, I'm a libertarian in that regard, though. I mean, people should be able to do what they want to with their bodies, man.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't think the thing that I think will change women's behavior is two things. For one, the state giving them subsidies and taking care of them you know, like a man would. Because if you give them subsidies, you're gonna create more of the same behavior. You're gonna get more as a result of it. So that's why I think the right, the people on the right end of the political spectrum were actually right in trying to say, look, the Great Society and this welfare state is fucked up, right? And I think it was, because they basically gave women an incentive to get rid of the man in the household without knowing the importance of children having fathers. Okay, but also men are going to have to change their behavior. This is tit for tat at this point. If this is why common sense ain't common, right? If women are playing the game of relationships way differently than what they used to, based upon a new orientation and outlook on the world, men are going to have to adjust to it and change up. And it's tit for tat, but it's not. It's like a game. Like I don't know if you've ever heard of game theory, but it's the logic of strategic decision. But the whole point is, if somebody defects on you as a strategy, well, you have to defect as well. You
Mhm.
can't keep, unless they, you forgive them and then they play nice again. Okay, then you can play the game again, because then there's reciprocity. But if there's no reciprocity, what's the use of playing the game? You're just gonna keep getting burned. So that's why men are opting out and lamenting over this, because one vital and constitutive part of being a human being, one of your prime directives is to reproduce. But men don't just want to reproduce, they want to reproduce and be able to have some parental guidance over their children's lives. What's the use of having a kid if you have no impact and no direction over the kid's life? And this is what men are lamenting. They've been made
Great.
into, they've been made into lesser men by the way the society is moved. It's just, yeah, Reefer Madness is a dope movie. That's a movie that was propaganda that used race as a means by which to drum up public fear and terror, and to foment this drug war. But the drug war is no different than the war on alcohol. All it did was create the mob. That's all the fuck you got out of the war on alcohol, prohibition, the mob. Because if people want something, they're going to get it legally or illegally.
Exactly. You're not going to stop people from getting what they want, man.
So, I mean, they had speakeasies and a whole culture directed on trafficking and producing alcohol. And, you had stings and raids, and you had gunplay and violence amongst Italian mobsters and Jews and Irish. You see the movies, man.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But like when black people engage in this behavior, I say it's almost as if it's not understandable. It's not even like you can't even perceive it as being rational or logical for a person to make that kind of decision without just referring to it as some nigga shit. Man, black people are no more likely to sell or use drugs than white folks. I went to an elite white boy high school in St. Louis, even though I'm from the hood. The first place I saw dope was in high school. I didn't see dope in the hood. They protected me from it. They didn't want me to see it. The older kids and shit like that who was fucking around with that shit, who was like 19, 20, going into their early adulthood, they wouldn't let us look at that. They didn't want us to see it. Then we went to the school with these white boys, man. I had never seen a fucking half a pound of marijuana in my life until I was in a room with a white boy and some other friends of mine from the hood. And this motherfucker got a bong with a half a pound of weed, smoking it in his room like, fuck it. And his parents know it. Come on, man.
Yeah,
If you in the house, they know he's smoking weed.
Yeah. Yeah, they know about it. They know about it.
Bruh, I ain't gonna stay on too much longer, but when I graduated from high school, man, they had a keg for us, bruh. Like the principal and the teachers. We were out fucking doing a kegger, man. We wasn't even 21, bruh.
Yeah.
White boys getting it in. I'm talking about white boys driving Benzes and Beamers and shit to school. I'm catching the bus to school. Okay? I'm getting the tuition reduction because I'm from the hood. But these boys, man, driving to school, parents own dealerships. Went to school with a dude named Bomarito. Look up Bomarito, St. Louis. Motherfucker got car dealerships in a whole bunch of different fucking locations. And that's where the dope is. But they don't get punished for using dope like we do. They don't, even the people I got, this colleagues, man, they'll tell you, oh yeah, man, I used to fucking get whacked out of my mind. I've done shrooms, cane, this and that. And it doesn't have the same impact on on their lives as it does our lives. They get to fuck around and play around with dope and drugs, and it's just them fucking around having fun. You do it, it can end up in you going to jail and losing everything you ever fucking worked for. Not to say that, but see, they don't get policed like we do.
No, absolutely not. And from what I understand, white folks use drugs at a greater and higher rate than black people do. From what I understand, they use drugs, weed, coke, and shit like that way more than black people do.
But
my understanding.
But hey, you got a group of guys who are insistent on, referring to these, like, man, George Bush was a cocaine head, man. Yale University, man. I'm talking about W. You think Bill Clinton didn't inhale the weed, man? That's a fucking lie, man. He don't even look. That's like he said he ain't had sex with that woman. He's getting his dick sucked. He's man, come on, man. Let's keep it real, man.
He was inhaling it as it as it was mixed with hashish.
And you think he didn't fuck
hashish mixed
Monica
with that thing.
Lewinsky, man? He probably didn't
Of
even.
course he
I
did.
believe he didn't fuck her because he probably was too, like you're just gonna suck me, lady. He probably didn't
Yeah.
have sex with her. But come on, man, that lady was blowing you, man. He probably ate her out.
Yeah, he did something.
Come on, man. Let's keep it real, man. Like, bruh, I know white people, man. I went to school with elite white folks, bruh. At not college, but high school. Went to all black college, then went to all white graduate school. And they were telling me stories like, yeah, man. I mean, because I went to jail for fucking around with selling dope. And they would ask me, do you know where the dope is? I would tell them, fuck no, I don't know where no dope is. Don't ask me that question no more. Because I know how much, I had. I didn't want to be involved with them because I ain't trust them. But come to find out, you can't trust Negroes either.
Nope.
But I mean, and I
not.
would never sell drugs to a minor or somebody who wasn't already fucking around with the shit. But the whole point is I shouldn't have done what I did. I did what I did. I paid for it, and then I got out and got my shit together. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. But I'm a believer in, man, if you want to blow your brains out, man, that's on you. If that's what you want to do, you should be able to do it. I'm not for the state saving a motherfucker from every vice that exists.
I don't know. Saving him from himself. I mean,
No, man.
the state shouldn't have to save you from yourself, man. To me, that's just like totally absurd. But I appreciate you coming through, brother Green Gorilla. You got to come back, man. You're always welcome here, man. You already know what it is on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You're welcome here anytime, brother. I appreciate you coming in, chopping it up, man, and answering the questions for the folks as well.
Appreciate it, man. We ain't have a large audience tonight. That's all right, though, man.
Yeah, well, it because we have a dude up here with a PhD in philosophy. Now, if you was a dude up here with a PhD in chasing tail, goddamn it, I'd have the 450 people in the goddamn chat room. But it is what it is. I don't really care about that stuff. I like talking to brothers, and I like chopping up with brothers, man, and I like getting insight from brothers. So if it's only 3 people in the goddamn audience, it still don't matter. I will still do it.
That's right.
Do it.
That's right.
So it is.
Well, I
what it
appreciate
is.
you, bro. I appreciate you, man, having me on tonight, man. And
oh, absolutely, man. I'm gonna come down there, man, and holler at you, man. Just that a lot of times when you come on, man, I'll be in the midst of other shit, or I'll be just getting in from work and shit like that. So, but I am gonna come down there, man, and holler at you, man, one night that you're down there, going live or something. All right.
Yeah, man. I might have to get you to get on and commit to a show one day, man.
Well, I will. I mean, I don't turn down it. Well, let me stop lying. I have turned down invites depending on who the person is. I mean, it has to, but 95% of them, I don't turn them down. Right, only about 5% I turn down.
Yeah.
Once again, man, I appreciate you coming through, brother. Like I said, man, you're always welcome up here on T.P.O.T YouTube page.
All right, my brother. Peace out.
Peace, brother Green Gorilla. Yeah, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But before we do that, y'all know I always gotta hit y'all in the head with T.P.O.T's programming notes. Yeah, because hold up, let me turn my shit on. Yeah, because next week, man, we got a pretty good debate going down. 2 brothers that I have respect for will be here. Brother Bernard Riley from the Grown Man Hour will be here, and he'll be squaring off with Brother SKC, Supreme King Coon, and they will be debating, is macroevolution scientific? Brother Bernard says yes. Brother Supreme says no. So it's gonna be a good one. It's probably going to be one of those nerdy ones with a lot of data and sharing of the screen and stats and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be one of those. And oh yeah, brother KIT, I thought this debate was going down last night, brother, but it didn't. So it's going down next Wednesday. So you know I'm going to need you to come through, man, if you can. Brother KIT, the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T debates. If you are still in the chat, my brother. If not, I'll be hitting you with an email so I can get you to come through so you can go ahead and keep time. And for you good folks, man, who want to tune into the debate will be 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday night, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You Negroes know. I don't know what we're doing Thursday, y'all. I don't have a show slotted for Thursday night as of yet. I don't know. I'll probably be talking to some of the brothers over the course of the next couple of days because you know it's only well, it's Friday now. It's only Friday, so I'll be. Oh yeah, cool, brother KIT. Cool, brother KIT. Yeah, brother KIT will be here to do the time on Wednesday. Damn, it's some kind of damn something flying in here, y'all, like a gnat or some shit. I came through the crack of the window. But yeah, we're gonna be throwing down Wednesday night. Thursday night, I don't know what we're doing, y'all. I don't. But we'll do something. I'm gonna have somebody here Thursday night. I'm gonna try really hard. All right. Once again, man, I appreciate all you good folks, man, coming through tonight, man, for this version of Ask the Doc. We might even do another Ask the Doc next Thursday. I don't know. Y'all got to look out for the thumbnail because y'all know me. I like to book. You know, that's easier for me. You know, I'm an old Negro, so I got to book these things. You know, I can't do the impromptu stuff like with Brother Green Gorilla. Shoot, I booked with him like, this is like 9 days ago, 10 days ago. Like, you know, I like the book. So I'll book something and we'll throw down, all right? I appreciate everybody coming through tonight, man. As always, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the super chats and the whole nine. But most importantly, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Like I always say, man, I don't take y'all good folks lightly. I never have, and I never will. You best believe I mean that. And a special shout out to the guest of honor, Brother Green Gorilla. I'm going to try to get the Green Gorilla back in here, man. I want to get him in here for a debate at some point. I think I'm going to get him. I'm trying to get him and Brother Ramil. I think that would be a good debate. I just got to think about the topic. You know, I just gotta see what kind of topics they come up with and all that. I think him and Brother Ramil would be a good debate. Plus, Brother Ramil, he only wants to debate people with letters behind their names anyway. So, but anyway, once again, man, I appreciate all of y'all, man, as always, man, for hanging out with us, man, spending some time with us and watching us, man. It's always a pleasure to be up here with you good folks. So, with that, I will leave you with 3 words, you know, like I always do.
Open your mind.
The good doctor is in the house. The good doctor.
Open your mind.
In the house. good doctor in the house.
Open your mind.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind.